Okay, just to back, wait. I got to let the audience know. First off, we've recapped so many films together on her podcast and my podcast. So just search Annabelle DeSisto. We've done the Twilight franchise. We've done all of these things. But what you'll have to realize about Annabelle DeSisto is that she's not a big movie watcher. She's missed out on so many classics. Then the movies that she does see, it's really bizarre. But you've never watched, you've never watched Scream the whole way through?
No, because the only bit of like Scream I saw was at a sleepover at Lisa Thomas's house. And I was like,
what age were you?
I was in 5th grade because this was before I had to start eating lunch like in the bathroom. So this was in 5th grade.
Wait. Hey, see, this is why it goes so long. Sorry, we're gonna pause. Why did you have to eat lunch in the bathroom at a certain point?
Because I had to throw up right after.
Oh my God!
I should have. I would have been called Annabelle and super fat. No, I was severely overweight, so I would take my 2 lunches and eat them in the bathroom, like very like Catty Heron in Mean Girls, like when she's like having to eat it in the bathroom stall because I couldn't sit with anybody. So this was not my time to like throw away a like sleepover invite. This was like very, very. So we all had like sleeping bags at the time. Do sleeping bags even exist? Like I know they exist, but like I don't think
sleeping bags still exist. Are you kidding me?
I don't think that the youth of America is like getting together and like being in sleeping bags. Like I know. I'm not on sleeping bag TikTok. I'm not on sleeping bag talk.
What in your imagination? What do you think they get into a cyber truck? What do you think they sleep in?
I don't know what they do. I just remember like sleepovers, like everybody had their own like sleeping bag. I don't know. I don't feel like kids are, I don't know what the fellow kids of America are doing.
I think it's still sleeping bags, and I think we're still at
really?
Yes. I mean, I don't think people are like, because the other option is just a blankets or a blow up inflatable bed. And I don't think they're putting out 6 of those at a sleepover.
All right. Well, you know what? This is a good survey for the baddies. Tell Ryan if your kids have sleeping bags.
Okay, wait.
Anyway, sorry. So we went to Blockbuster and she had gotten Scream 2. And I don't even know how far we got into it. I know it's like, I think the first scene, because it's like the movie theater scene.
Wait, Annabelle, you know we're covering Scream 1 today, right?
No, I know, but that's the only experience I had with Scream 2. And I got we watched it for 15 minutes and I freaked out and was so scared that they had to turn it off. Did not.
Wait a second. Wait, you caused a scene within the first 15, because that movie theater scene is the first scene of the movie with Jada Pinkett Smith. And you freaked out so bad that they had to turn the movie off. Why wouldn't you just take your lumps if you're trying to fit in with a group?
You know what, Ryan? Have you ever heard me talk about anything I've done and been like, yep, Annabelle, that was the right choice. That was a good idea. It's just always, I guess, been a pattern with me of like, what's the worst thing I can do in this moment?
Did they have to comfort you for like the rest of the night and you ruined the entire sleepover?
I think I just like turned over and like my sleeping bag was like a little glowworm and was just like, I can't look at it. Like Lisa Thomas was truly doing like the Lord's work. Like she was doing like an act of like charity by inviting me. I sabotaged it, not on purpose. I was genuinely terrified. So I did not watch this stuff when it came out. So I only knew about like the first like scary movie I saw like in theaters was House of Wax, because I want to support Paris Hilton on her opening weekend.
Of course.
And then,
which is very big of you if you didn't like horror films. That's like that's very nice of you.
I'm very brave. Very brave. Some would call me a hero. I'm not saying it. Other people have said it. I'm just repeating them. So I hadn't watched this. I'd only known, I only knew like the key parts because of, you know, pop culture of being a baddie. I knew like the main parts of like how I've never seen like, you know, Sixth Sense, but I know like that Bruce Willis is like dead and like Misha Barton's like mom poisons her or whatever.
You got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, is that who it is?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had never seen this like fully. I had just ever seen like the Matthew Lillard and was it Skeet Ulrich?
Skeet Ulrich, Nev Campbell, your favorite Jamie Kennedy. I mean, this is a star-studded cast. And this came out in 1996. It was directed by horror icon Wes Craven, who did the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. But to me, this is
Music of the Heart, obviously.
Well, yeah, he did this Meryl Streep movie called Music of the Heart, or Music of the Heart, and that's like one of his.
I just know the NSYNC song from it.
No, that to me is scarier than Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street combined. It was like a feel good movie about a teacher, wasn't it?
Oh, did she sit backwards in a chair? Every teacher who's trying to like connect to children, always sits backwards in a chair.
Hey kids, let's bring it in. I want to talk I want to talk to you, teacher to student.
Raise your hand if you have a sleeping bag.
Wait. So, but to me, this is a pop culture like seminal film that I think everybody has seen at this point. Yet you still hadn't watched it the full way through until we decided to do this.
Yeah, this was a first. You would have thought I would have seen all of Jamie Kennedy's collection. But I had missed this. I watched all of the
Is Malibu I've never seen Malibu's Most Wanted. Is Malibu's Most Wanted scarier than Scream, or is it the same level of scary?
No, that is a movie that I don't think Oscars are obviously, it's all about politics and buying foreign press and everything. Just Oscars and Golden Globes and everything, they don't give it to good entertaining movies. They give it to whatever the studio has bought. I will say, I don't know if it earned any MTV like popcorns, any VMAs, or any surfboards, but it deserved all of them. It deserved to sweep.
You're talking about Malibu's Most Wanted. You're talking about Malibu's Most Wanted.
I say if there's like traffic, I always say traffic, looking from a chapstick.
I've not seen the movie, so to me, you're just mumbling right now.
You've never seen Malibu's Most Wanted?
Yeah, shocking. I've seen all the Godfathers, but I've never seen Malibu's Most Wanted.
You say that you love film.
Well, the funny thing is, Jamie Kennedy, I've hosted the Jeff Lewis show with him a couple of times, and they all love Malibu's Most Wanted. Well, they always do the song from there. It's like circle, circle, dot, dot. I don't they always, you gotta get your coochie shot. They always rap the song from Malibu's Most Wanted. So I do have to check it out at some point. But Jamie Kennedy, this was his big
movie.
But it's not a good movie. Wait, but to me, Scream is a classic. This is a classic movie. But you wouldn't know that.
This is a very good movie, and I can see why everyone is like. I can see why this was like such a staple. Because like if I had seen it like when it originally came out, like before, because also like now it's so weird to see it after like Scary Movie and everything have come out, because I remember like.
Wait, so you watched Scary Movie before you watched Scream?
I like good films, Ryan.
God.
But truly, Malibu's Most Wanted is a great movie. I don't like the F word. I think the F word. I hate the word film.
We'll have to recap that movie at some point.
Because Ryan watches films.
Yeah, I do.
People like movies. I like movies. You like films.
Yeah, but like you also then not even just movies. You watch like straight up like garbage. Like you'll watch movies, straight up. I'm trying to. You're trying to. I'm trying to think of one to give the audience an example of what I'm talking about. But like half the time, if we recap a movie, I secretly think that you think of it as the best thing ever, when I think of it as kind of like jokey. Whereas Scream, I think this is a great movie. I think there's so many things to talk about, but it's a great. I actually got scared and I laughed during this film.
It is I really, really liked this a lot.
But you were too scared as a child to watch this. I was too scared
as a child. Yeah, it's very scary. Like now watching it, I'm laughing. Like it's like a guy in a caftan running around. And
Ghostface.
I do like that I like that, like with Michael Myers, he's kind of like this unstoppable like force. Like nothing really jigs him up. I didn't realize like Ghostface is like doing like Ace Ventura level moves. Like he's like falling, he's like he's getting hit in the face, he's being hit with bottles. Like at some point, like some of the chase scenes are like a Benny Hill sketch where it's like, where I was like, oh, this is fun. Like I thought it was a truly like a really great movie.
There are these elements of it where it's like, oh, this is kind of funny. And you're right. Like the ghost, like Ghostface will like slip a lot or get thrown with a bottle and it'll take him out. But then there'll be these like extremely dark moments where you realize, oh yeah, Like they're straight up killing somebody. And then at the very end, you're reminded throughout the movie that Nev Campbell's mom has been killed a year prior. Not only that, they say in the movie, she was brutally, and a trigger warning, everybody, she was brutally raped and murdered. And you're like, holy shit. Like that's pretty dark. So at the end, and by the way, we're going to do the big reveal now. It's Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard's character together. They are co-ghost faces. And we find out the whole reason, because this all started to do this whole ghost face thing was because Nev Campbell's slut mother had an affair with Skeet Ulrich's father, and then Skeet Ulrich's mother left, and that like made him so angry he decided to be a serial killer a year later with his best friend Matthew Lillard.
I had no idea, because like I knew just by like memes and stuff that they were like the killers at the end, and how there's always been kind of like this like, I don't know, seen on like kind of like this like this gay like undertone like bromance like between like the two of them. So, but I didn't know like the motive, and so when I was watching this, I saw the motive of like, because you had said like how there were 1,000 reasons like how this like wouldn't be made today, but it's just so crazy like the slut shaming in this movie. But also when they show a picture of the mom, she's like wearing like a denim vest. She has like curly hair. She looks like a kindergarten, like an art teacher.
Yes.
And
they're like, your mom was slutting it up all around town. And I'm like, this lady, the lady with the denim vest.
We did your mama a favor. She was a slut hoe bag. And I'm like, when they said hoe bag.
But also, if this was the case, like that this mom, and then the mom was murdered, and then they peg Liev Schreiber, the famous actor, plays the guy that they like put away for the murder. Now he only is shown in a picture in this film, but in Scream 2, he's an actual character gets released.
The one who played the framed.
Yeah. Cole, what's his name in the film? It's Cole. We'll get. Wait, I got the cast list up right now. He played I know you guys are screaming out the name. Oh, Cotton Weary. Liev Schreiber plays Cotton Weary, but he's just in like news footage on the first movie. But in the second movie, which Kevin Williamson, the writer, included a 5-page outline for Scream 2 at the end of the Scream 1 script when he sold the script. So he already knew where he was going with Scream 2 in case Scream 1 was a hit. And it was. But yeah, this is star-studded. Liev Schreiber, I mean, such a respected actor today, but back then
he's so tall. I walked by him in New York one time, and I like couldn't believe, because it was like that was like when he was on Broadway, and like we were walking, and like obviously of course like late to like Boy from Oz or something with like Hugh Jackman, and like I couldn't believe like that he was just like walking, like we just like walked past him like at the crosswalk, and I was just like could not believe like how tall and good looking he was, and I'm like, actors, they walk just like they're just like us. They walk like it's like he was just like so handsome. I had no idea that's who it was.
But see, there's a whole mythology to the Scream franchise that it's pretty but my thought was that if that mom had a relationship with Billy Loomis's Skeet Ulrich's character's dad, the investigators like didn't like immediately find out that like the fact that the fact that never came up in any of the investigation of like, oh, he was cheating on his wife with this with Sidney Prescott's mom, like that never came up. And that was the part that confused me David Arquette plays like, the bumbling 25-year-old, Deputy Dewey sheriff. And which is really funny, but it really is one of the shittiest police forces ever in this small town, because there's so many, like, how did they not figure this out earlier? Like, there's so many, even when they're cross-referencing cell phones, like, well,
oh, sorry.
No, please.
Even when, after, Ghostface, like, tries to attack her the first time, and she, like, she runs out and she tries to open the door, and, like, David Arquette's like holding like the scream mask
right in front
of his face. And it's like, he's talking to his sergeant. He's like, they sell these every 5 and dime everywhere. And they're passing around this mask. Like, let's not save it for like prints or try to get like DNA off of it. They're passing around like it's like the spirit stick. They're like, hey, what is it? Throw it to me. Catch it. Like, it's going around. I'm just like, but evidence. And granted, like, I mean, it's less ridiculous than other red hats I see, but like at the like police station, did you see on David Arquette's computer, like his giant like computer, there was a red hat with googly eyes on it that said "Booby Inspector"?
Well, I mean, David Arquette, by the way, this was originally written, that part of Deputy Dewey was supposed to be like a hunky, hot dude. And David Arquette came in and they originally wanted him for Billy Loomis, Skeet Ulrich's character. And then they went with Deputy Dewey and they made it like kind of more of a geekier, funny. And I think David Arquette's natural instincts take over and he was great. Also, Drew Barrymore, who has the iconic first scene in the film, was originally offered Sidney Prescott instead of Neve Campbell, but she actually preferred to do the character in the first scene, which is so, I think that's the right move. And I think her blonde bob is so iconic. And then Wes Craven picked Neve Campbell because he was a fan of her television show on Fox, Party of Five, which I love that show. That was probably before your time, but I loved. It was so depressing every week. And they would have 90210 and then Party of Five back to back. And 90210 was always kind of silly. And then Party of Five was just so dark and depressing.
Like, what was like Party of Five about? Because like I know slightly about. Oh, actually, I'm going to ask you this question now before I forget. Because at one of the points, like in the movie, she talks about like, oh, they could like make a movie out of this or something. And she's like, you know, you could be played by like Meg Ryan. She's like, oh, well, with my luck, I'll be played by Tori Spelling. And like, I get that if you said it now, it's an insult. And I like feel bad even saying that. Like Tori Spelling is just like such a fucking punching bag for everyone. And it's like, she's taken like Tara Reid's spot. Cause like, where in the world is Tara Reid? Like not like move over Carmen Sandiego. Where is Tara Reid? That's what I'm concerned about. But like everybody makes fun of like Tori Spelling, which I think is like so unfair and like so like warranted. But it's like if this came out at like the same time like 90210 was on, like she was still like people still didn't think she was attractive then.
Well, first off, Tori Spelling was in on the joke because she later was in a Scream sequel playing like, so they, but I mean, well, and by the way, they make constant, you know, this is also one of those films that references pop culture, which was kind of new, like new at the time. They had like they commented on horror films within the film. They brought up Sharon Stone multiple times in this movie.
They brought up Richard Gere and the gerbil. Like I love.
They brought up Tom Cruise. If you pause the movie, All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise, you can see his dick.
Is that true, Ryan?
Well, you don't watch films, so you'll never know. I'm like, God damn, this is a hot movie. Damn, look at that mushroom. That's amazing. That big old Tom Cruise Scientology dong. I love it. Oh, Xenu, yeah. All hail Xenu. All hail Xenu. Woo. Yeah.
I don't want to say I stand Scientology. I don't think that Scientology, I think gets such a bad rep.
Oh my God, Annabelle, what are you talking? Oh my God.
I guess we can save this for another time.
Oh my God.
I'm a lobbyist.
Wait. I kind of want to see where you were headed. Why do you think it gets a bad rap?
I think it gets a bad rap because people are like, oh my God, that's crazy. An alien came down and made volcanoes and blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. You're saying that is crazy, that is any different than like a wizard boy where people
a man in the sky.
Yeah, like people like living in a whale, and some people are like, it wasn't a whale, it was a fish. I'm like, I don't think that matters. Like, I don't think that's the point. Like, I believe much more in aliens than I do in these other things.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Well, let me blow your mind. Some people think that aliens obviously do exist, but the aliens are the God. Like and they've created us as their like kind of play toys. Like the aliens have made us.
Like,
kind of, yeah. I mean, by the way,
I can absolutely see that. Like, I feel like the aliens probably look at us like how we look at cows of like, oh, like cows are dumb or whatever. Or that they look at us of people are like, oh, you know, aliens like could save us or whatever. And I'm just like, aliens probably like, why the fuck would we help you? You guys murder and do all these terrible things to each other. Or, you know, Miss Prescott's in her denim vest, her being brutally raped and murdered. And it's like, this is what we do to our own. They're like, why the fuck would we help you? What we've done to this planet and everything. So like, anyway, it's a whole other thing.
Wait, do you think aliens watched you puss out at that 5th grade slumber party and not watch this movie?
Example, 5 billion of why we should not help these.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, Xenoc, check out what Annabelle's doing today. Just more of the same. Just talking shit. Yeah. She just said Malibu's Most Wanted is a good film. Take me to your leader. Fuck that. Yeah.
But I always say, I am shocked that I never became a Scientologist.
There's still time, Annabelle. By the way,
no, I shouldn't say I haven't aged out of that. I've aged out of so many things.
Well, no, I've said that about Scientology in the past because, like, I'm pretty susceptible to anything, and like I want to be included in a group. And the only thing, like, the only thing that kind of where it goes, it's like I'm really cheap. So like I don't like you know, one of the things about Scientology you hear is like how much money it is. And so I'm like, oh, well, I'm out. I'm out. Like, I don't, if you want to give me the cool information for free, like I'm willing to fully go to the Celebrity Center and do like the fun Travolta parties. But once you start charging me, that's where I get a little like, come on, guys. Like, can't I just
I don't want to pay for this. Like, I don't. The thing is, when they're like, it's like a scam for money. Every church is a scam for money. Are you kidding me? Like all these fucking Joel Osteen, where they have like pyrotechnics, like those mega churches.
Yeah.
Like, where they have like Super Bowl, like halftime level shows. I'm just like, this is, oh my God. So like, I just think Scientology gets, I'm not saying it's better than the rest. I'm just saying it's not crazier than any of the other things. Like,
well, I'm glad we haven't gotten off track yet. That's I mean, the only wait. Sorry. How did this tie in with Scream again? I forgot. I'm sure. How did we get to Scientology?
Yeah,
you know what? It's not even important. The other thing that I was thinking about rewatching this film.
Okay. Just put it. I'm just saying this real quick. Do you remember when Jax and Stassi talked about going to the Scientology Center?
Yeah. Oh my God, Jax, why doesn't the Scientologists go after more reality stars? Because I feel like they've done what they can with movie stars. Like, why don't they go after because I feel like that is ripe for the picking.
Is there like Scientology talk? Like, I feel like, because like now the thing is, I'm like, I don't know any of like the celebrities of today. Like, I don't know if any of like
I don't know if they fully have them anymore. I feel like they need a big one to like get back in the game. And
they need Tom Ryan Cruise. Daly.
Yeah, they need
you got all that Patreon money.
What if they go? What if they go after podcasters? They're gonna go after podcasters. Like that would be great. Watch what crappens. Ronnie and Ben make an announcement that they're now OT level clear. They're like, well, we finished the purification rituals, and I wanted to announce we are Scientologists, and that's what we attribute a lot of our success to. I would love that. Would be hysterical.
I would wonder if you had a like promo code for Scientology.
Yeah, guys, use so bad at pickup and at checkout. Sorry. Okay, so the plot summary for Scream. In the Scream 1996, this is the storyline. A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a masked killer who targets her and her friends by using scary movies as part of a deadly game. So that was the log line for this film. And I don't know if we want to... Oh, the one thing I did want to say before we kind of start talking about the individual scenes is this movie now, watching it now, I just truly, like we said, I don't think it could ever happen because technology has changed so much that also like Reddit and TikTok, they would have discovered the killer. I mean, like, they would have discovered the whore mother immediately. They would have been like, you know what? I heard a rumor. You know what? I heard a rumor. Yeah. And that, like, there would have been so many Reddit threads coming out of this small town.
The true crime podcast would have come out the next day of like,
yes. Yeah. There would be an ABC News docuseries like by the end of the week about this. And they would have pegged these people immediately. I almost kind of I wish they would refilm this movie, but from the perspective of the killers, because I kind of wanted to know how they did it. Like at the end, they bring out the voice box, and I was like, how do you put your cell phone up to the voice box to have it? And they have to move around. How do you do that in the mask?
Like,
and then
it was like the original like auto tune. Like it was just, I never did back in your day. Was like, were those things like
Well,
hearing the
we
sound of
were
like
still
waves.
just basically telegrams and a
Wouldn't you just
lot
like
of like
talking to a fan? Like, didn't people used to do
yeah
that? Were they
yeah.
talking to a
You're saying, well, we just had like pigeons and stuff to like send messages with, but
I was gonna say, Ryan,
that
when you
compute
made your smoke signals, what
yeah
did you
yeah.
do?
We what was the no? We just did Morse code. It was like tap 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 tap. Like that. By the way, we needed old timey screen film where it's not like where it is like tap 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 tap. It wouldn't be nearly as exciting as this, but I think it would be cool. I also that's the thing is that these kids, the two kids, it makes sense that two people had to do all of this, but at the same time, and I don't want to give credit to killers at all. These kids were working their ass off because even in the first scene with Drew Barrymore, they have to like get Drew Barrymore's boyfriend and all of a sudden put him in the middle of like by the pool in the backyard. He wasn't there before, and then all of a sudden he pops up. They have to like disembowel that kid, and then they have to catch Drew Barrymore. And within 5 minutes of the parents getting home, they've had to string Drew Barrymore up on a tree. Like she's hanging on a tree with her bowels out. Like that's a lot of fucking work. Like it's like and I don't want to like hats off to those guys, but man, I want to see from their perspective.
It's still, two things can be true at once, is what my therapist Cynthia loves to say to me. Two things can be true.
By the way, are we in like a Brian Wilson situation? This is potentially the worst therapist that I've ever like.
Brian Wilson, the Beach Boy.
Yeah, well, he had like a therapist that took over his life. Like he went crazy, and then a therapist like kind of like took over, and he had power of attorney. He spent all of Brian Wilson's money, and like Brian Wilson wouldn't do anything without his therapist letting him do it.
Cynthia put me on like my $20 rule.
No,
or was
what
this
is that?
before we were friends? Because like I regret meeting you mid one of my first mental breakdowns. Cynthia, my therapist, made a rule for me when I made my during my like psychotic break, where she's like making a $20 rule for you, Annabelle. She's like, if it involves spending more than $20, you have to call me. And
so you were like on the phone with her all the time.
Yeah, I was, because it was very much because like the day before, where I was like, I'm gonna go get a dog. So I'm like, a dog will like get me out of my apartment. I'll be walking, and she's like, no, you won't. You'll be paying for a dog, and then it will just like shit all over your apartment, and then you're like not gonna clean up those like weed pads and like everything, and you're still just gonna be like in your dog. And I was like, you know what?
Where the fuck was she on the 8 cats that you bought? Where Cynthia? What happened? Like, was that okay?
I didn't tell Cynthia everything.
By the way, in Annabelle's apartment in Los Angeles back in the day, you would go outside, and like in the outside area, I would say like there was like a crystal farm. There was like 60 huge. I mean, like we're not talking small crystals. We're talking like big crystals.
That's another thing. That's why I'd be honestly, like when I look back at some of this stuff, I'm like, oh, so dumb. Oh, it's so dumb.
Yeah,
so dumb.
I mean, I was like, oh, I remember seeing that for the first time, and I was like, wow, baller. Like that's a baller lifestyle you're living, and
yeah, I'm still paying rent every month for those fucking rocks to live in LA.
Wait, are they still in storage out here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, that's amazing. That is
every month, and I'm like, next month is gonna be because that's what I'm waiting to get my haircut. Well, like I don't want to get my haircut here. I'm waiting to go my haircut in LA, and like every month I'm like, this is gonna be
Annabelle, it. Well, I mean, listen, eventually just get a haircut. I mean, why do you need an LA haircut?
Not here.
Why?
Yeah, the haircuts I've gotten here, I truly got the worst haircut of my life. And that's like, it's even worse than the one I got in middle school, LA? Where the woman, my mom's like, yeah, my friend Connie is a hairdresser. I should have known by the name, this is not going to go well. So I had super, super long hair, and she put my hair in a ponytail and braided it. And then she cut the braid off. And I had like a Dorothy Hamill. Like, I was like, because this is when I thought I could pull off a bob. There is a beautiful brunette, stunning brunette in the Santana Smooth video with Rob Thomas. Sure. And I was like, man, I bet I'd look just like her, because we both have brown hair, basically twins. I bet if I had a bob, who's who? Which twin has the astigmatism? Like that type of like, I can't tell the difference. So I was like, I want to look like this. And she just cut off my braided ponytail and was like, there you go. And it was a horrible, like Rosie O'Donnell, like page boy cut. And I would say this haircut, one of the haircuts I got here was on par with that. So
this is like Girl Interrupted. This is, you brought out like a bowl to do your hair.
It would have been better. It would have been, and what's honestly even worse, it sounds even crazier. In moving or something, I don't know, like this, it's like 15 years ago or 20 years, I don't know, whatever. I was getting something. My dad told me, like, oh, can you get this out of my drawer? Whatever. And I looked and I could scalp somebody. They had ponytail.
I'm sorry, what? You cut out on that. They did what?
They had my ponytail, my braid.
Oh, your dad kept your ponytail.
I guess for curses or something. I don't know, but he had the braid. I think it's like when my mom picked me up, she's like, what happened? And it was kind of like a horror movie where I just like picked up my hand and instead of holding cabinets, I just like held a giant fucking braid.
Well, but I mean, that's also very cute. I think it's because your parents love you. And it's like one of those things of their daughter growing up. And like, now you look like a boy and they wanted to remember you how you look like a girl.
I mean, that was the start of Annabelle. There were other contributors to the nickname.
Well, the two lunches on the toilet didn't help. Okay, let's move. I mean, we'll come back to Annabelle's life in a second, but just to give you a picture, if you have not seen the movie Scream, we're going to reenact. We're going to read the first scene, and I will be playing Casey, Drew Barrymore, and you are going to be playing Ghostface. But in the script, it just says man's voice. Do you have the script pulled up, Annabelle?
I'll pull it up now. Granted, I have not pre-read this. I'm not a very
this is a cold. By the way, this is what you call in the industry, folks, a cold read. We are both cold reading this, and
I think we can both. I don't think it has to be said who's better in the industry, but she lives in Aiken, so.
And she has a man's haircut, and that is.
I didn't even want to get up. Somebody was like, "Can you read this at the HOA meeting?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't like reading in front of people."
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I didn't want to read about like the new like grass length coordinates or whatever. I was like, I don't want to do the fight between the 4 and 6 inches.
Okay. Is the script up?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Opening, fade in, ringing telephone. A hand reaches for it, bringing up the receiver up to the face of Casey Becker, a young girl no more than 16. Really? 16? A friendly face with innocent eyes. I feel dirty watching this now. I thought
of it all, the Kim Zolciak age of it all. All right, yeah. 16. Okay. All right.
So Casey picks up and she's like, "Hello."
Hello.
Yes.
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What number is this?
What number are you? Yeah. What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
I think you have the wrong number.
Do I?
It happens. Take it easy. And then Casey hangs up the phone. The camera pulls back to reveal Casey in the living room alone. Nice living room house. The phone rings again. She grabs the portable phone and she's like, "Hello."
I'm sorry. I guess I dialed the wrong number.
So why did you dial it again?
To apologize.
You're forgiven. Bye now.
Wait. Don't hang up.
Casey stands in front of the sliding glass door. It's pitch black outside. What?
I want to talk to you for a second.
They've got 900 numbers for that. See ya. Casey hangs up again. Now we see that it's a big country home with a huge sprawling lawn, oak trees, no neighbors in sight. The phone rings again. Now she's made this popcorn. It's sizzling on the stove. Casey covers it with a lid. The Jimmy Pop reaching for the portable phone. Hello?
No. Sorry. My screen got. Why don't you want to talk to me?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn. I like how Drew Barrymore says it. She's like, popcorn. Popcorn.
You're making popcorn?
Uh-huh.
Really? What? Wait,
no, you skipped a line.
You
said, damn it.
Sorry. I only eat popcorns at the movies.
Oh, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Um, sorry. One Night in Paris. No, just some scary movie.
Do you like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite.
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy with the white mask who just sort of walks around and stalks the babysitters. What's yours?
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the one where the guy had knife for fingers?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's right. I liked that movie. It was scary.
The first one was, but the rest sucked. And you guys, that was like a huge inside joke because Wes Craven directed the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Zing! Inside zinger on Wes.
So yeah, Wes Craven on the set was like, "You're fucking." That line stays in, bitch. She goes, "Yeah." So the first one was, but the rest sucked.
So, you got a boyfriend?
Why? You want to ask me out?
Maybe. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
Oh no, it clicked out. Oh, because I want to know who I'm looking at. Sorry.
And that's when Ghostface says that, it's really scary because she's like, "Wait, looking at?" And she's like, "What did you say?"
Ryan's not doing it justice. He's messing up this read. But trust me, in the movie, it's very. You're drinking from such a comically large glass.
Do you like my glass? Do you like comically large glasses, Sydney?
You're right. What are you drinking?
I drink this. It's like water with Diet Crystal Light in there. Because I'm a child still, so I put like Crystal Light lemonade squirts.
Cool.
What are you drinking, Sid? Okay, so anyways, she goes, and Casey's like, "What did you say?"
I want to know who I'm talking to.
That's not what you said.
What do you think I said?
Now she's clicking on the outside light. A floodlight illuminates the backyard. She's like surveying the grounds. It's empty. And
she's like going around. There are so many windows and doors in this house.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of shit.
All of them are unlocked.
And by the way, I think this is kind of like one of those moments where it kind of really gets you because we've all been alone somewhere and scared to death. Like I used to be scared of burglars when I was a kid and I was a latchkey kid. So I would come home and I would like scream out. Like when I would get home, I'd be like, "I've got a gun," just in case any burglars were in there.
And they were like, "Good, use it."
What'd they say?
Use it.
Oh, I was like, "What? Hey, big legs." Oh, no.
Hey, big cup.
Yeah. Hey, comically large cup. So then Casey's like, I have to go now. I have to go now.
Wait, I thought we were going to go out.
No, I don't think so.
Don't hang up on me.
Isn't that when he goes, "Don't hang up on me"?
No, don't hang up on me. Don't tell an artist how to create, Ryan.
Gotta go. Don't.
No,
and then hangs up. He slides the popcorn for the stove, kind of reaching for the phone. The phone rings again. And she's like, "Yes."
I told you not to hang up on me.
What do you want? No, he doesn't scream yet. Sorry, that's not the scream yet. Do it lighter, Annabelle.
Okay, lighter. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to direct you.
All right.
I told you not to hang up.
What do you want?
To talk.
Dial someone else, okay?
You getting scared?
No, bored. Click.
Oh.
And then the phone rings again, and she grabs it, and she goes, "Listen, asshole."
No, you listen, you little bitch. If you hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish. You understand?
Whoa. And that's when you realize, holy shit. And she's like, now she's terrified. She's like, is this some kind of joke?
More of a game, really.
I'm 2 seconds from calling the police.
They never make it in time.
Oh my God. And she's like at the door, she's looking through the peephole. We see the front porch is empty. She relaxes a little bit and she's like, "What do you want?"
To see what your insides look like.
That could actually mean a couple of different things too. That could also, that's like you're either like in a horror movie or you're at a Diddy party, which is kind of a horror film as well. And sorry, you guys, I told you there's going to be a lot of offensive things in this. Anyways, at this moment, the doorbell rings and Casey screams and it rings again. And Casey's like, "Who's there?" And the doorbell rings again. She's like, "Who's there?" No one answers. And then the phone rings again and she picks up and she's trembling. It's you, Annabelle.
You should never say, "Who's there?" Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
Look, enough is enough. You had your fun now. You better leave me alone or else.
Or else what?
My boyfriend will be here any second and he'll be pissed when I tell him.
I thought you didn't have a boyfriend.
Classic women, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. She was like,
Women be lying, am I right?
Women be shopping and lying. and now I'm kind of on the ghost face, guys. I'm like,
If I learned anything from Sinbad, women be shopping.
I think you might be a woman if you be shopping. Yeah. And then she goes, I lied. I do have a boyfriend and he'll be here any second and your ass better be gone.
Sure.
I swear it. And he's big and he plays football and he finger blasts me and we'll beat the shit out of you.
I'm getting scared.
I'm telling you the truth. I lied before.
I believe you.
So you better leave.
His name wouldn't be Steve, would it?
Silence. And Casey's like, how do you know his name? And I remember seeing this for the first time and thinking, oh, is this like a prank? Is this like Steve's like behind this? Like, ha, we just got you. Like, you know Steve's name. How do you know his name?
Sorry, you're asking. Okay. Go to the back door and turn on the porch light. Again.
Okay, then so in this time, the ghost face had to have brought Steve, her boyfriend, and put him on a chair, and she didn't hear it because the light goes on, and we see like a linebacker, like in a varsity jacket.
He's wearing the game. What's the Teen Wolf jacket?
Oh God, that's amazing if it was. But I think all sports jackets kind of look the same in high school. But they see he's tied up. He's tied up and he's like, oh, Steve's like, you can tell he's been roughed up, but he's alive. And Casey's like, oh God. And she goes to lock the door.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Where are you?
Yes.
Please don't hurt him.
That all depends on you.
Why are you doing this?
I want to play a game.
No.
Then he dies right now.
No.
Which is it?
What kind of game?
Turn off the light.
It would be funny. It was like Jenga. Adult Jenga. She's like, turn off the light. So she turns off the light, and then the guy goes, the ghost face says,
here's how we play. I ask a question. If you get it right, Steve lives.
Please don't do this.
Come on. It'll be fun.
No, please.
It's an easy category. Movie trivia. Not film trivia. Movie trivia.
By the way, this is the part, if I was Drew Barrymore, if I was me, I'd be excited. I'd be like,
yes.
I'd be like, I got this. Yeah, Steve's going to live. Because I think I would have,
yes.
I was like, yeah, what's up, dude? So I was like, please.
I'll even give you a warm-up question.
Don't do this. I can't.
Name the killer in Halloween.
No.
Come on. It's your favorite scary movie, remember? If he had a white mask, he stalked the babysitters.
I don't know.
Come on. Yes, you do.
Please stop.
What's his name?
I can't think.
Steve's counting on you.
Michael Myers.
Yes. Now for the real question.
No.
But you're doing so well.
Please go away. Leave us alone.
Then answer the question. Same category.
Please, no.
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
Jason. Jason.
I'm sorry. That's the wrong answer.
No, it's not. It was Jason.
Afraid not.
It was Jason. I saw that goddamn movie 20 times. It was Jason.
Then you should know Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer. Jason didn't show up till the sequel.
See, that's bad. That's bad on Casey, because if you did see that film 20 times, you would have known. So like, I feel like she is potentially a liar on top. Like she lied about the boyfriend and she lied about seeing this film. Yes. Yeah. Bitches be lying about horror films. That's what I'm like. I'm like, you didn't see the film.
I just would have loved it if he was just like,
all right, second easy question. Which Real Housewife starred in Halloween?
Yeah. In the infamous
Kim Richards.
No, she starred in Escape from Witch Mountain.
In the infamous Roni episode, Scary Island. What was Kelly Ben Simone chewing on when Bethany said go to sleep? Or if it was like really specific of like, name the first weekend box office gross on the on ET the Extra.
And he's like, no, not domestic, international.
Yeah, I said foreign, bitch. Yeah. How many screens did the original be? Yeah, sorry. Anyways, she's like, you tricked me. You tricked me.
Wait.
Lucky for you, there's a bonus round.
But poor Steve, I'm afraid he's out.
You kind of sound like Lauren Michaels a little bit, Annabelle. Like how they always do Lauren Michaels. Oh, yeah, like Dr. Evil a little bit. Oh, $1 billion. She goes, but poor Steve. Okay, so then Casey runs to the kitchen to the glass door. She flips on the porch light, and you guys, Steve's belly is fully open. Like his like all his insides are outside, and that's what I'm saying. Like. That's what I'm talking about the work. Like these kids put in the work. They disemboweled this guy.
Can't be a quick.
No, not at all.
It takes forever. Now, granted, I have ADHD, so I get distracted. But
yeah, well, and also just imagine these two guys. Like, how are they like doing hand signals to each other? Like, one's on the phone with Drew Barrymore, one's doing the heavy lifting of disemboweling a guy. You have to carry Steve, who he's like still like kind of with it, so he's probably fussing and fighting. Like, I just was trying to think, like, this is a lot of work. Like,
they would have been great in like the drama club if they had a stage crew. I feel like that they would. I mean, the quick changes that they're able to make, not only costume changes, but like scene work, like moving like big sets, moving big things. Like, teamwork makes the dream work. Like, oh, I'm like, two things can be true at once. What they're doing is awful.
Yeah, obvious. No, wait. That goes. Wait, by the way, if you listen to this podcast, I don't want it to encourage any like serial killers out there.
I don't want to encourage any negative reviews for Ryan. All right, don't take.
Oh my God! Don't even say that. Don't even. Now you've given people that idea.
No, because I don't remember her username, but she was like, "Love Ryan, hey Annabelle," in whole caps. I was like, "Don't take that out on Ryan's reviews."
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Do you like being on So Bad It's Good, Annabelle?
But it's like it is impressive. Killers, like, you have to have a plan. Anyone who can get away with like a crime these days or a murder, my hat's off to you. I'm like, shame on you. Like shaking my finger at you.
Yeah,
bad. But also like,
but good on you. Also,
you?
Like also if I was Drew Barrymore, I would have immediately hung up and called the police. Like, why didn't she hang up one of those times and say, I'm going to call 911? This is like before, like, they have cell phones, but it wasn't like readily available. So like we find out Billy Loomis has a cell phone in a later scene, but it wasn't like those are for the really rich kids and the parents. So I would have hung that thing up and immediately called 911. So I was wondering if the kids had like plan B, like if she calls the cops, what do we do? Like what if something goes wrong? Like, and how did they test this out? Did they do dry runs? Like, how did they? Like, and also, because they kidnap Neve Campbell's dad, you find out at the end, where did they keep him that whole time?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, good question. Yeah. Do you think they were like tough but fair? Like, okay, we will give you some food. Or do you think that he was just like in there just it?
Like, did he have to like pee and poo himself? Or did they like give him bathroom breaks?
See, this is what
should that's the minutia of it is what I've, after I've seen it like a dozen times, I want to know like minutia, because these are two, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not complimenting them, but most high schoolers, I wouldn't put in that sort of work. And so you were like, damn, if they could have redirected this kind of passion towards not murdering people.
I mean, towards their college, applications, they could have gone to Harvard. Like,
if Neve Campbell's mom wasn't such a slut, these kids could have potentially cured cancer at a certain point, right? Okay, anyways, let's finish this scene out. Let's finish this. So say, leave me alone, please. Like Steve's guts are on the ground.
Answer the
And
question and I will.
okay, and she's like on the ground rocking.
What door am I at?
What?
There are 2 doors to your house, a front door and a back one. If you answer correctly, you live.
I also think there were more than 2 doors. This place is kind of
also would have been like back door.
yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, when you hang up, don't star 69, 69. Woo! Yeah, by the way, nowadays it'd be like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Crazy. No, so he goes, don't make me. I can't. I won't.
Your call.
And then all of a sudden, like Casey grabs like a knife from the kitchen, and then a lawn chair comes flying through the kitchen glass door and it sprays everywhere. And then also this starts a fire because of like the popcorn. And we see a shadow moving quickly through the shattered door frame. You see like, feet cracking, like feet on broken glass. She turns and unlocks the latch to one of the doors or one of the windows, sliding it up. And she can hear somebody moving through the foyer. And she lifts her leg. Thank you. And she's like trying to ease out the window and hide. And she's in the back corner of the house.
I can hear you. I know you're here.
And so the figure is like walking around. She sees the figure walking around through the window and she moves further along the house, like squeezing by the hedges. And she's at the 3rd window. She peeks into the figure and the figure is staring right back at her. Dun, dun, dun. And we see the ghost face mask, which by the way, Bob Weinstein, the Weinsteins produced this film with Dimension Films, which is a subsidiary of Miramax back in the day. You know Harvey, the pig that's in prison. His brother Bob produced this film with Dimension Films. And originally, when he saw the dailies for this film, he hated the mask. So said he gave them like 7 other options for masks instead. And they said, please just wait till we cut this scene together and then decide. And then he saw this first scene cut together and he was like, okay, you guys win. You can keep this mask. He didn't think this mask was scary at all.
That's so crazy. Well, sleep over me. Thought it was pretty scary. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So it did its job. So Casey screams bloody murder when she sees the face. So when
she was watching, like when she just like kept looking back and like she's like hiding, like she's outside of her house and just keeps like looking back and she sees like the little shadow like scuttling. It was like in Ghost, like when they see, like when there's just like when they take away what's the Latino
Patrick
man?
Swayze?
Yes, the Latino man, Patrick Swayze. No, Luis Guzman.
Oh, Luis
when they
Guzman?
take him away, and it's like just like those little like scuttling.
Oh yeah, that was such a scary part. Yeah.
But it was just like these, like when she's like sees him like it's like scuttling along. But I just wanted to be like, no, this is when because she's like looking out and they're kind of like in a rural area. It seems. I'm like, no, this is when you like Forrest Gump it. You like run through this field. Like you just like don't keep like checking it like. Keeping like back in. It's like no, baby girl, you need to run.
See, like, hate to keep coming down on the women, but women be giving up.
women need to exercise more, right?
Women just be barefoot and pregnant, not running like women. Sorry.
They just be gabbing on the phone.
Yeah, put the phone down, woman. Like, come on, run. Well, anyways, now she's in a struggle with Ghostface. And she's like, they're in like a chase. And all of a sudden, she sees headlights appear. Somebody is possibly there to save her. So there's actual hope. She sees it in the distance. And we see it's like her mom and dad. And she's like running towards them in the yard. The car turns into the driveway. And like the Ghostface mask killer is like running after her. And Casey screams, waving madly at the car. And all of a sudden, the Ghostface catches up with her and grabs her and sticks the knife in her chest. Again and again, so close to being saved. And it's like really brutal. And then we see her parents, they come out of the parked car. They don't know anything that's wrong, anything going on wrong. Then they come to the front door and all of a sudden, like there's a fire alarm, there's smoke from the popcorn. And her parents are like, what the hell? Like, what is going on here? And they're like, where's Casey? They're like, oh my God, Casey. And they pick up the phone because he's like, call the police. And we hear Casey's voice because she has the phone still with her. And he's like, help me. And the mom's like, she's here. Casey? Casey? And she's like, I can hear her. Oh, mother of God, I can hear her. And the dad picks like, Casey. And the mom's like, not my daughter. Which, by the way, for a small part, this mom kills it in this role. Like, she was really giving performance. And the dad turns to the mom and goes, get in the car and drive down to the McKinseys. Get in the car and drives down now. And then all of a sudden the mother goes to go out and we hear the mom just like, scream. And we see that Drew Barrymore has been tied up by the tree. Her bowels are out and she's fully dead. Blackout. Beginning of the film.
It's like a crazy opening. Like it is such
funny,
a good
it's scary. It's like it's creepy, it's eerie.
It's informative. Like I didn't know about like the Jason then Mrs. Voorhees. Like the thing is it really is such a great movie. And if I feel like this, like however long, this is almost 30 years old.
This podcast? No, we've only been doing about an hour. No, this film was 1996. Oh my God. It'll be 30 years in 2 years. Holy shit. I think it still holds up.
I'm a mathologist. I'm almost very good at it.
It's still this to me, this opening scene especially holds up still.
I feel like that I think it's like such a great scene now, and like I'm way behind like times. Like I feel like this would go this goes up like with the like logging truck like Final Destination to opening scenes
of
my
God. No, this is a step above. This is a step above Final Destination.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that like my like Final Destination to log truck is too like crass for you. It's too middle of America for you, Ryan.
Yeah, it's too heartland for me. Wow. This movie's for the coastal elites.
I was gonna say Hollywood elitist shows his
wait. I will say Drew Barrymore kills it in this small part, even though I think her performance, like, because I was trying to think how I would truly act in that situation. And like, I don't know, for some reason, I'd be like, I'm hungry. Give me the Jiffy Pop. Also, if it was held today, she wouldn't answer the phone. She'd be on her damn TikTok. The only way this Ghostface killer could get to her, like, flip on your TikTok. You like, like
just leaving like harassing messages on I was like, oh my God, this is like before Reddit. This is how like incels had to bother women of like.
And also it is like Matthew Lillard, not as much, but Skeet Ulrich is like what's considered like male hot. So like the fact that like he had to turn to serial killing is it boggles because like he's unarguably male hot, right? Or what women consider hot. And
I'm not sure. Does my name's like, it said like I could have like a name in the chat. I didn't know. I tried. Did my name show up as Justice for Matthew
Lillard? Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you say that?
Because I believe that Nicolas Cage and his toupee should have been hunting him in the movie, because I think Matthew Lillard is a national treasure that we have lost and forgotten. And
he's working again. He's been working ever. Like he had a resurgence.
We need to see like more of him.
I think Matthew Lillard is a fantastic actor.
Have you ever worked with him? I feel like
no, but I did meet him at the Austin Powers 2 premiere party, and he did this independent film called SLC Punk, Salt Lake City Punk, that I loved. And this was after Scream.
You brought it out with any of the housewives? Is it is it about Salt Lake City?
No. But it's like it's an independent film. But I
sorry, you can edit this part out. It's like at an hour and 19 seconds. Turn.
Wait, what?
Do you have a hickey on your neck?
No.
Turn that way. No, the other side.
What are you?
No, the other side. Oh, it looks like oh, is it just razor burn?
Yeah, no, it's just I have like pale skin, and then no. I have some pimples. I have like I do get kind of red.
I didn't know if you were a slut like, Sydney's mother. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Your whole bag. Right?
Sorry.
No, do you have a hit? You go edit this out. Yeah. Wait. Is there something on your pubes right now? What? Edit this part out. Yeah. Oh, you guys don't podcast in the nude.
So sorry. Sorry, sorry. He's in an indie film called LC Fun.
I was telling you my Matthew Lillard story. Well, so anyways, you know how nervous I get around celebrities, but I was excited because I was like visiting that summer that I worked on the Austin Powers movie, and I went up to him
at Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
I
was at the premiere.
Who are you in Austin Powers too?
I was one of Dr. Evil's henchmen, and and a couple scenes, and then I also was in the dance scene. In fact, this is beyond the. I'll send you a picture later because I made like
never heard this. Do all the other baddies know this?
No, I don't think so. But I made a Newsweek article. I remember because they had a picture of Austin Powers and Heather Graham, and then I'm in the background. And I remember that was like so exciting for like, I remember my dad, cause he used to read Newsweek every week and he was like, holy shit. But anyways, I went up to Matthew Lillard.
Doctor's office waiting rooms that you were in is mind blowing.
Well, think about it for very. And well, anyways, I went up to Matthew Lillard and I was like, yo, dude, I just want to say, I love SLC Punk. And he was the nicest dude. He was like, bro, thank you so much. And he was really, really nice. But I will tell you before we get into the rest of the movie, I do have, so Scream 2 happened and then Scream 3 happened. And I was living in LA by the time Scream 3 happened. And I've told this story on the podcast before, but I will tell it again for people that have forgotten, is that I had like a group of guys I hung out with and we were working on a script that had horror elements to it. And we found out from our friend that was in casting that Scream 3 was having their premiere party at this club in West Hollywood. And she had a pass for this premiere, like, and for the after party, like a name badge and stuff. So we took the name badge and we made duplicates of the badge to get into the premiere. And I mean, that's just not my speed. I get so scared about shit like that, about like sneaking in places where you're not invited. And the premiere happened and it was the after party. And so we get there and we're like, let's go. Let's see if this works. And we got into the party. Like they totally let us in and we're like, holy shit. And our goal was to go up to Wes Craven, who I don't know if directed the third one, but he definitely produced it, but we knew he was going to be there. So we were going to go up to Wes Craven and tell him about our script. Like, and that wasn't my idea. That was the other guy's idea, but we were like, okay, so we got in and I was like, holy shit, we're in. And it was free drinks. It was free everything. And all of a sudden it's like this, we're at a premiere. And that was
absolutely afforded Scientology. You're getting all these free drinks and free parties.
Yeah. It's like, no, but I wanted to say, but that was the night that I met Brittany Murphy for the first time. Well, at first and last time, Brittany Murphy. And I was smoking Nat Sherman MCDs, I think at the time, which was like a long brown cigarette. Cause I was trying to be artsy and I was like trying to be cool. And I was like smoking these cigarettes and she came up to me and asked to bum one. And I was like, oh, of course, Brittany Murphy, of course. And this is what I always talk about stars. Like I fully thought Brittany Murphy was like hitting on me. And like, you got to realize I'm pretty insecure. So for me to even think that, she was just so charming and bubbly. And then I was like, so we had this like 5-minute conversation and it was really nice. And I was like, do you want a second one? And she was like, no, peace. And like walked away. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was my Brittany Murphy. But then later when I was drunk, I went up to
was like with Ashley, like when, like how soon was this before she died? Do you think it was
well, it was whenever Scream 3 came out. So that would have had to been like 2002 or 2001. I don't know. Like whenever Scream 3 came out.
So.
Well, and the other thing about that party is that I was drunk at this point and went up to David Arquette, who was there at Scream, and I said, David, I hope to be as funny as you one day. And I could barely get it out. I could barely get it out. And David Arquette looks at me and he kind of laughs. He's like, you already are funny. And I was like,
I'm like, because I think this is hilarious.
Yeah. And then I went and ate 2 meals in the bathroom. And then the kicker of it was we were all pussing out on going up to Wes Craven. And then my friend Brian, all of a sudden, Brian took the bulls by the horn and waited for Wes Craven to use the pisser and went right up next to him at the urinal and was like, hey, Wes, Can I talk to you about a script we wrote? And Wes Craven, I guess, I wasn't in the bathroom, but he came out and Brian was, and remember, like you're up and like you're trying to like do something with your life in Hollywood. And Brian comes out and he's like, score! Holy shit, dude. And we're like, what? Did he buy the script? Did he buy? And what he did was like, he's like, sure, just drop it by my office sometime. And like, just like the brush off of like, just give it. But we all thought like, holy shit, dude. He told us to drop it at the office. You kidding me? And so we thought we were like, that night was such a raving success. Like, I mean, we were on cloud 9. Like we thought that was all our dreams had come true in that moment. Nothing ever came from it. We dropped out the script. We never heard from it. Like nothing ever happened, like zero. But
trying of David is funny as you.
Yeah, he was like, and I remember his face because it was so David Arquette, like where he was like, "Oh, you already are funny, dude." Like, and I was like, oh, "Okay." Like, I didn't
see how funny you are right now.
Yeah, no, that's really kind of what I took it later to mean. Of like, I was like all sweaty and nervous, and you know me because like I can't remember my thought process entirely, but even like thinking back, I know that probably took me like an hour to work up the courage to go up to him.
You should have brought that cup. That cup is so funny.
Shut up. Yeah. Anyways, that was my night at the Scream.
Have you lost that much weight, or is that cup like? If that cup honestly looks like Pee Wee Herman level, it looks. Ryan, I'm not sure. Does everyone watch the video of this? It looks like a. Do you have really tiny hands? Like it looks so.
No,
big.
I have like extremely large hair. Like yeah.
I'm not trying to like hand shame you. I'm not trying to like neg you about your hands. I'm just saying like it just looks very large.
Wait. Since the beginning, you just said I have a large glass. You just literally brought out like what is that? A candle? What are you just drinking straight whiskey out of a bottle?
I got it. Oh my God, Ryan! No, I'm a professional. This is tequila. This is a replica of the black flame candle from Hocus Pocus that I got off of Etsy. That is a tumbler.
Okay, but that's like pretty big too.
Is this what the kids? Is this what the teens do? Don't they like?
Yeah, tap it. Things? Tap on their glass. This is ASMR. Tapping on your. This is ASMR. Well, by the way, that if they do a Scream, like they keep doing these Scream movies, they should do one where Ghostface is an ASMR. I'm like, I'm gonna see what your head sounds like. Tap, 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 tap. Because that'll be the next thing. Like they'll TikTok stream it, like.
Did you know that we know some of these that we've met? So, well, this isn't big for you because like you've already met like the stars of like everything. But that in like the latest Scream, whatever movie came out, like we've met like some of the cast members. Because podcasts that Ryan and I went to go see, they have posters.
Oh, we love the movies.
In the latest Scream.
In the Scream movie, they have so Annabelle loves this podcast called We Love Movies with these like 4 dudes that are really funny. Actually,
movies.
Oh, sorry, We Hate Movies. Sorry, and they do live tours. And me and Annabelle went to one and like we talked about the story already, but basically Annabelle fully geeks out over these guys, and Annabelle like how I made David Arquette nervous. You should see how nervous these guys were when they were like, "Oh, Annabelle's here! They're like, "Echo, Bravo!" Like
they're like they call 911. They're like 911 will never get there in time.
Yeah, Annabelle's literally like goes and she's like, "What's your favorite movies? We hate movies. We love."
Went up to them, and I know we talked about like this is like the last episode I did in like a year. We talked about it, but when Ryan negged me in front of these who I'd been,
how did I neg you?
I was so nervous. Do you remember? Not negged me, but I got to them, and I was like, I just have to say, I'm like, and I was shaking. I was so nervous. It was like the most nervous I'd been to meet celebrities, like, in I don't even know how long.
Oh, guys, she really, I mean, truly was.
I was
like
nervous.
She was very nervous. And then I guess she bought the meet and greet. So then we're in line afterwards to meet these people. And she was like, and then by the way, it's not, she wasn't the only geek. There was all these people, like some people brought like toys for them and shit.
I was so fucking nervous. I know. And the girl in front of us brought a toy. And then Ryan looks at me before we got up and he's like, what did you bring for them? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't bring anything.
Oh, but
and you're like,
wait.
And you call yourself
Annabelle had a glam squad for this show. Like literally, because I met her beforehand and we podcasted and there was a glam. I remember a glam in the hotel room.
And it still turned out a terrible picture.
And then you guys, Annabelle, if I'm remembering the story correctly, because it's a while back now, Annabelle sent me the picture and she had face tuned it so fucking hard where she was like, do you think this is okay? And I was like, what is this? Like, you guys, she is so like, the actual picture was already great looking and she face tuned it where I was like, is this Gretchen Rossi's baby?
It was so bad. The picture was so bad that I like literally my chin, I tried to because this was before I was on knockoff not Magento.
What are you talking about?
This was before I was on knockoff Ozempic. So my face, I had like a potato, like moon pie face.
That's not true, Annabelle. That's not true at all.
I did a terrible job of editing it. So I looks like I had the ghost face. My chin is so
wait, I was like, who's that girl that is like literally cut somebody else's face off and put it on their face during a live, like it looked like that scary Texas Chainsaw Massacre where I was like, is somebody wearing somebody else's face?
Anyway, I got up there and I went, I just have to say, and I'm like shaking and I am like, I have terrible posture to begin with. I would say I have like gargoyle posture, like hanging off like a cathedral. I have terrible posture to begin with. And then when I'm nervous, I am like huddled, like completely like.
Oh, I'm very same way. Like I had no skin in the game. I hadn't even listened to their podcast really. So I was so like, nervous. I just walked in and I was like, whatever.
I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I just have to say, I like listen to you guys every day and then beat Ryan. I don't.
I didn't say that.
Right, that's exactly because I went.
Well, no, you know what? If I said that, it was because it was so damn awkward.
Every day, and then
because it was so damn awkward.
I don't. I've never listened to you
because I legitimately thought they were scared of you, so I was trying to make it lighter. I was like, I don't, haha. Like I was trying to live it, like because you just stared at them like they were zoo animals.
I went to another show in Atlanta, and they were like, "Hey, the guy who didn't listen to us."
Shut up. That's not true.
Ryan, I swear to God, they remembered you.
Wait. What did they say?
And they were like,
during the show, they said this?
And they're not like, like when I met them after, and they were like,
oh at the police station afterwards?
With your friend who didn't listen to us.
Oh, there's no way that's not true at all.
Ryan, on 8 of my cats' lives.
How many, by the way, you bring a different person to these shows all the time. So it could have been any of the people that you've brought with you in the past to those shows. None of them have probably listened to it. And wow, that's not true. They didn't remember that.
I swear they remembered you.
Well, now I have beef with We Hate Movies. Now it is a full on.
Well, you guys are normally like in the chart, like you guys are like in the same
well,
chart.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to those. No, wait. What I will say about those guys were great. It was
mine is Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. You guys are my my third and fourth.
Yeah. No, I think they did the movie Twins that night, which was really funny, right?
Yes, I was cracking up mostly at Ryan. I was laughing at the show and also very much Ryan.
Well, also I said this already because Annabelle like picked the seats like literally on the stage. Like, like, hey, why don't we be in the 3rd or 4th row? No, like, and I'm a big guy, so I already am so aware of my body every second of the day. And all of a sudden I'm in this cramped space where I'm looking like I'm in this guy's crotch, like on stage where and Annabelle's like, is this too close? I'm like, you can't get closer. You can't legitimately get closer. And there was like people had to, that's where my nervousness came from during the show. After the show,
you were not pleased with me.
It wasn't. It was weird. And then, well, no, also because you ordered food and then we're having to like, eat chicken fingers in front of these people. And like, where you can legitimately like, hey, you okay, buddy? Like slow down. Like, that's how close we were. Anyways, back to this Scream movie, you guys. So
anyway, do you want to finish our first? You were right. We didn't even get to the first.
Yeah, we did. I said we're an hour and 16. We got through the first scene. Okay. Anyways, from there, we're going to skip around obviously a lot, but we meet Sydney for the first time, played by Neve Campbell, and Billy Loomis, who turns out to be the killer, is his boyfriend, but he comes in through the bedroom window.
Yeah,
and it's like
a Sam from Clarissa Explains It All and just like pops through the window. Did you ever go through like a girlfriend's window? Did you ever do a B&E for a girlfriend?
No, well, I've told you this story before. I've told you, well, my high school girlfriend, this is so embarrassing. Like I was hot and heavy with my high school girlfriend, and I thought like I was in love. Like I was in,
hot and heavy. Was this when you guys parked somewhere?
No. But we like, there was like the upstairs, and they had like a bonus room upstairs, and we would always watch movies. And like, we had been together for a minute, and like the parents liked me at that point, like still liked me, because like we were in like high school theater together, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember we were watching something in the bonus room, and like things got amorous. And then
amorous? Like polyamorous?
No, like amorous. Isn't that like, hot and heavy? Isn't that another word? Like kind of romantic. Like, and by that, I mean, it was like the bonus room didn't have a door on it. And like, listen, like it was a different time. And I just remember somehow, and we were fully, but I was dry humping. I was dry humping. And, like all of our pants were on, but it was like, so just imagine like like, just like, cause, and all of a sudden I hear her mom's like, do you guys want popcorn? Like saw me furiously dry hump, like our jeans are fully on, but like, and like, I never have wanted to die so hard than like in that moment. And it was, and then I was like, I remember, cause I was like, and I asked my God, can I climb out the upstairs window? Cause I couldn't, I just like knew I was going to have to go downstairs and say goodnight. Like, no, you have to say goodnight. And I was like, so I just remember, like, I was like, I hope to be as funny.
You're like,
as
no,
you.
I'm finished. I've finished, and I'm done for the night.
I said, well, but then I had to go, it was good night. And the relationship with the parents was never the same after that. Like it was, I mean, imagine it was so, I still even thinking, I haven't thought about that memory in so long. And it was just so embarrassing on so many levels. But like, that was like high school. Well, anyways, but this is what this Billy Loomis kid, cause like Neve Campbell's all virginous and sweet looking.
This is like my first time I known about her. She is so beautiful. Like she is so like her face is so perfect.
Neve Campbell is gorgeous. And so this Billy walks in,
and she's also wearing like for her nighttime, she's like wearing a like frock that's like, it's like, so like, it's very like Little House on the Prairie. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess it's no better than obviously what I like literally wear like a free t-shirt I got from a lobster restaurant to dinner. Like that's normally when I sleep. I sleep in like free t-shirts. So I'm not saying mine is much better.
Yeah. Billy's like wrong. Oh, sorry. Wrong window.
Yeah. Mine I know is bad. Like that's like, but he says like, says how
you dress. Hey, Sydney, you're dressed like a pig right now. How many t-shirts are you wearing? Anyways, throughout this scene, there's a lot of like movie, like this is like, it's really self-aware talking about horror films. Billy says he was at home watching The Exorcist, he goes, yeah, it was edited for TV. All the good stuff was cut out. And I started thinking about us and how 2 years ago, we started off kind of hot and heavy, a nice solid R rating on our way to NC-17, and how things have changed. And lately, we're just sort of edited for television. So he's like saying like, you have not boned me yet. Like I want to get to the good
part,
stuff.
Like reminds when he's like, I was watching The Exorcist and it reminded me of us. And I was like, is it the scene where she's like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like,
I love that. But by the way, I already think I know the answer to this. Annabelle, have you ever seen the movie The Exorcist? Nope.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You only know because that scene has been talked about in like filthy and probably your like we fart on movies podcast.
Ryan, that word. No.
Okay. So anyways.
Yeah, that's the F word I will not accept. I'm sorry. I'm joking.
Yeah. No way we're not getting bad reviews on this, by the way. Like even like the content's horrible, but like honestly, is she okay?
Mentally
anyways,
and physically, the answer is both no.
So he basically is going in there to like let her know that she is not doing her womanly duty and like providing him with sex. And throughout the whole this scene too, they have a slowed down remake of Blue Oyster Cult's "Don't Fear the Reaper" song. It's like, don't fear the Reaper, take my hand, and which is kind of like a good version of this song. And the dad is like, you know, checking on the girl, like, oh, I heard a noise, and like Billy Loomis is hiding. Anyways, they're saying, you know, like she's like, time to go. And he goes, hey, about the sex stuff, I'm not trying to rush you. I was only half serious. And then she kisses him and she's like, would you settle for a PG-13 relationship? And Billy's like, what's that? And then she flashes him for a second. And he's like, whoa.
You only see like the back. You don't see like any, but like it's from.
Yeah, you don't see anything. It's like virginal still.
But like honestly, I'm like, when they were he's like, I'm not trying to like rush you for stuff, but like maybe we can do some like over the clothes or like over, what do you say, over the clothes or
over the clothes stuff. Over
and
the
I'm
clothes
like,
stuff.
honestly, that's the dream. Because like me and you have talked about this before. Like I think dry humping is like the like creme de la creme. Like that is to me like the best thing. It's like get like all the best parts of it. You don't have to shave your legs. I was like, yes, this is where it's at. Like to me, like that would be like ideal. Like you don't have to worry about getting pregnant.
I imagine at this point, your legs are actually like fully denim already. Like you've just let the hair grow so far and long that it's like made its way into like stonewashed denim. You're like, Annabelle, those are really cool jeans. They're coming back in style. You're like, no, I haven't shaved in 20 years. So we get out of this scene, you guys, and we go to the school for the next day. And reporters are swarming this high school campus. And this is when we meet Courtney Cox's Gail Weathers. And Gail Weathers is like Brat Summer. She's Charlie XCX. She has like a lime green neon like suit on to report. And she's like, the small town of Bayboro, North Carolina was devastated last night when 2 young teenagers were found brutally butchered. When 2 young teenagers, authorities have yet to issue a statement, but wait, 2 young teenagers? Isn't that just one?
Because wasn't it the boyfriend and
oh, sorry. You're right. Sorry. You're right. Good. You've been paying attention. Authorities have yet to issue a statement, but our sources tell us that no arrest has been made and the murderer could strike again. And that's when we start meeting the other characters, including Tatum Riley, who is played by what's her name?
Is it Rose McGowan?
Yeah, Rose McGowan.
Who's so beautiful. It's like it's crazy to think that she was with Marilyn Manson.
Well, Marilyn Manson, then of course she was one of the key, people speaking out against Harvey Weinstein. I mean, she kind of really went through it, and this was her first this is when Rose McGowan, like, we really kind of knew who she was, and they dressed her in such tight clothing, so it's just like boobs and butt,
and boobs and like nipples, like that.
That scene. Yeah,
it's like she, like how Kim K, like in her Skims line, she has like the shirt that like has like the built-in
with the nipples. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, she has like fucking diamond cutters in that scene. Like,
yeah,
you can stab people with like the nipples, like that.
But Annabelle, that was actually on purpose because they were making fun of horror films. They were poking fun at horror films, how they will always kind of have these girls that are overly sexualized, like we do in our culture. So they were poking fun at that, but at the same time, still doing that. But at the same time, they were still doing it. Like nobody. Half the audience wasn't going, oh, this is a good commentary on like horror films. They were like, nice nips.
You're like, honk, honk, like,
yeah, honk, honk.
Boob inspector, googly eyes.
by the way, I will say Bill Bailey, people love him, but back in the day, Bill Bailey was a huge honk honk guy. Like my poor mom, they would always be like honk honk to my mom. So I hate to ruin Bill Bailey's legacy, but he was a big honk honk guy. He'd be like, honk, honk. Like, I remember growing up and he would always grab a honk, honk. And I was like, what? By the way, so sad. It probably killed her. What? Shut up. On both. By the way, I did, Dad. Do you want to do a honk, honk on me now that I've got a solid B cup? Just in honor of Mom, will you give me a honk honk? Anyways, we find out that the school is like just going crazy. We meet Deputy Dewey, who is played by David Arquette. We meet Deputy Riley. So we meet all these characters. We meet the school principal, played by Fonzie, Henry Winkler.
I was thinking about him. Like, have you met him? Didn't you go to his like book signing or something?
I went to his book signing last December, and my mom
says, like, that he's like one of the nicest people they've ever
one
met.
of the nicest. Truly, everybody says that about him. But I will say that was another moment. Like, I'm just not good at meeting celebrities. I'm just not good at it.
We hate movies, guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Celebrities and non-celebrities, I'm not good at meeting. And I remember I had my book, and I also had my mom's like remembrance book, because she had written, which, by the way, you had given me this, the product. What was that thing where your parents typed up the stories?
Oh,
they used to advertise on your show.
Oh, I forget. I don't know.
But anyways, it was like something that
nice.
you can give your family, and then they'll type up all these prompts. And my mom made a whole book of her life before, like, she was like fully sick. But one of the memories in the book is talking about meeting Henry Winkler in Ohio when he was on Happy Days, and how nice he was to her. So I wanted to go tell him this. And first off, like, they weren't allowing pictures, but also there was such a huge crowd. So like,
pictures? That's so weird.
it was going to take too long because there was such a big crowd. And so I went up and I was like,
where was it?
It was Barnes and Nobles. Yeah, exactly. Right next to the Cheesecake Factory that you love. And so he goes, so I go up to him and I'm like, Mr. Winkler, my mom loves you. She's dead. Like, and he was like, yeah, kid, moving along. No, he was like, once I said he was like signing, and then I said to Mom, then he realized he had to look at me, and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it was just like really quick. But he was very nice.
Aww.
But I was like, I think still, at that point it was December, so it had only been like 4 or 5 months. So you're looking for and I'm still looking for those things of like every moment to be able to talk about her or celebrate her or any of those things. So you find yourself like, yeah, I want to tell Henry Winkler about my mom because, but like she also talked about Michael.
Honk, I have a story.
Henry, can I honk your boob, Mr. Winkler? So now I have to track down Michael Bolton next to tell him. So, anyways, Henry Winkler's in this movie as the principal, and Henry Winkler actually talked about this, how he had to like really fight to get this role because they thought they didn't want, like, Henry Winkler means like nothing, and they wouldn't put him on the movie poster, even though, but he actually tested really well with the audience. So
I feel like he's like the male version of Betty White. I feel like everyone loves him.
Of who?
Of Betty White.
Oh, I thought you said Fetty Wap, the rapper. And I was like, Fetty Wap? Like what? Betty White. He is. You're right.
One of your contemporaries, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, Fetty Wap. Anyways, we're meeting the cast of characters, and this is where we meet the gang of kids, which consists of Sydney, Billy, Tatum, Stu, and Randy. And these are these gang of friends that obviously this is where we meet Jamie Kennedy, and Jamie Kennedy is the movie nerd in this movie, which provides us so much information about horror films. And he works at the video store. And I think I looked up to him because I was like, wow, look at this guy. Like he's got everything.
You worked at a Blockbuster, right?
I did. Exactly. So I was like, holy shit. And he plays Randy, and then Stu, of course.
5 years ago, I wanted Ryan to do a movie podcast with me, and I'm like, we can call it Blockbuster. We can make fun of your Blockbuster past and do movies. And you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
No, well, we do end up doing it. I mean, yeah, I was like, I can't take that kind of time. Like, we would never get through one film. Like, we still will never get through this film. Anyways, so we meet this cast of characters, and I will say, like, Stu, who like is obviously played by Matthew Lillard, is his way of talking in this movie. Did you catch this of like, I said liver alone, liver alone.
I laughed at liver alone.
Yeah, like he makes a joke of like liver alone. Get it? Liver alone. But there's a lot of things if you look back in retrospect.
He does such great like mouth work. Like his tongue is like Gene Simmons level. Like his like it's such like a big mouth and tongue. And I just like it. I just really adore him, and he's been married to the same woman for like almost 25 years now.
Is that what you're
And
thinking about when you're watching Scream? Like, oh, good for him. He's been married for 25 years.
well, the sanctity of marriage is very important to me, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm
Which
sure.
is why I've never gotten married. No, like, I just remember, I still remember one of his appearances on Regis, and maybe it was Kelly then. Well, apparently I don't remember it that well, because I don't remember if it was Kelly or Kathy Lee. But he was doing the interview, and he had like his cell phone out because his like wife was pregnant. She was about to give like birth, like he had his cell phone out, but he was talking about how he like proposed to her and how it was like in a photo, like it was in a like photo book. I just remember it being like so sweet, and I was like, oh, and like some girl I like know on social media or whatever, or like anyway, she like hosts a bunch of like not Comic-Cons, but like local Comic-Cons. I don't know. She's always doing like different, like moderating different things. And she does like a lot of horror stuff. And she had Matthew Lillard, and he was like so nice, and like, like everybody just says he's so nice. So like,
well, that's what Jamie Kennedy talks about all the time, where
good for him.
Jamie Kennedy does all these horror cons and all of this stuff. So like the cast of Scream, they always kind of see each other because they're always at these horror cons across the country. And he makes like really good money doing them, which is so wild to think 28 years later, this movie has lived on so much where you can make a full living out of just going to these conventions and taking pictures with people.
I feel like, isn't it like, I feel like that would be like the sweetest gig. You do like one thing and then you can just go on like the convention, like circuit.
Yeah. I mean, you just, well, I mean, unless you're like truly like this kind of artist where you're like, oh, like you might get, I don't know. I could see where you would be like potentially sad because you're thinking about when everything was working.
Do you remember that that scene in Beverly Hills Housewives when Kim went to like that
mental health facility?
No, and not the Target that she stole from. The other thing, the when she went to like one of those cons and she set up like her booth.
I forgot about that. Which, by the way, see, this is why I wish Kim Richards, like I mean, I know Kim's like struggling.
Have you ever interviewed her?
No, but Kim would be amazing in a horror movie because Kyle was in the Halloween films like even recently. And
I wish she would have talked about that. She was so like candid about it.
Yeah. So, anyway, I wish Kim Richards was still working or able to work in that way because I think she was really talented.
I've only ever seen her in Black Snake Moan, which
oh shit. I just got a text message. Ryan, it's Tim Waltz. No, he says, Ryan, it's Tim Waltz. Oh, he just wants money. No, I thought he was like, what if it's like, Ryan, it's Tim Waltz. Scream, I want to get on the podcast.
I want to get on the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to talk anything political. I just want to talk about my love of the movie Scream. And and then I get him on the show and he's like, first off, women be shopping. Women be shopping. Okay, so anyways, we meet these.
You are the funniest person I know.
Crazy kids. Yeah, and I met Thomas Ravenel.
Do you remember the last time I texted you when I was just like, yeah, he texted me like he like called me and I was like, Ryan, he called me. What do I do? And I texted him, was like, hey, sorry, Mr. Call. So I called him back and he texted like, call you in 5 minutes. Then he never called me.
And didn't he unfollow you on Facebook?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
he followed you for a second and then he unfollowed you.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, he's like obviously our ideals are very different. But
I would love to watch Scream with Thomas Ravenel. Be like, well, these kids.
When we talked and I was like, he's the first person in the world I've met who watched Suits, like not ironically.
Yeah, he'd be like, these lawyers.
And
these lawyers are amazing.
He said something about like, I love the show Suits, and I'm like, what?
Wait, didn't you go into his house and then say he got all the stuff at Joanne's Furniture or something like that?
Yeah, how they got. And you said something that I still think about to this day, Ryan, which you say many funny things that I think about. And I know Nancy quotes you quite a lot. She just always loves to do your impression of when you were like, I'm going to call you trashy. when you were doing your Thomas Ravenel. That when I was talking about having such a terrible time at the first time we went to T Rav's house at like that breakfast, and he had some like very expensive like horsehair like beige lounge or something. And they're like, and he was like, it's a authentic Zachary Boucher. Like it was just like, and I was like, oh,
I see you admiring my Zachary Boucher.
And I was like, oh yeah, I think I saw that. I was like, yeah, I saw this like on Wayfair. It's so pretty. And everyone was like, it's not from Wayfair. And I was like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. You're right. It was actually furniture. I get that confused all the time. And I was like, and they thought it was, and I was like, and they got even more mad, Ryan. And you were like, still remember this, where I was like, it was as my friend Oprah would say, an aha moment. Cynthia would say, this was like, yeah, you should listen to Oprah when this is an aha moment. When you were like, Annabelle, you do this to yourself. When you're like, you purposely make things bad because you're bored and you do it to entertain yourself.
Holy shit. I nailed it.
And I was just like, it was like one of those like out of body experiences where I was like up there with Xenu looking down at my body being like, oh, wow. Because I'm like, oh, why do these experiences always go so terribly? Because I always tell him, like, I'm waiting for like the rapping granny moment. Like in movies, there's like the time where like, you know, like there's like the granny who's rapping and then it like loosens up the room and like everyone's like, all right, like I can cut these, like and have fun. And so I'm like, always like, I'm going to be the rapping granny. Like I'm going to be like what best this open. And it's just like, it always goes terribly. And so when you said, you're like, you do this to entertain yourself when you're bored. And I was like, that was honestly one of the most profound moments of my life, Ryan, truly. Because
but then if we're going by that theory, isn't that 5th grade Annabelle not letting these other girls watch Scream 2 because you need to throw a fit like 15 minutes into the movie?
Listen, I'm ageless by Ramona. I'm ageless by
Which, by the way, I've mentioned this all the time. Annabelle had an interview with Ramona Singer that had to be taken down immediately because Ramona was mean to Annabelle. Like Annabelle, like you wouldn't like she's like been around all the big wigs. Like one of the first, I remember seeing Countess Luann for the first time, and she was with, I think, Ronnie and Ben, and it was like I was with some people, and that's before I knew Annabelle. Like you were there, like fully done up. It was like Ronnie, Ben, you, Danny Pellegrino was there. This is before I even had this podcast. And it was so weird.
Yeah, I've never been so scared. You want to talk about fucking like Drew Barrymore being terrified over the phone? I've never been like, I was shaking on the fucking other line when Priscilla, the makeup artist, called me, and fucking, I've never been. I've never been screamed at like that in my life. And Nancy,
tell people what you're talking about.
So, Priscilla like a lot of
makeup artist,
Italian words. She's a makeup artist for like Teresa and a bunch of the housewives, and does like a lot of the like watch what happens live or whatever. And so she called me and was screaming. I've never been screamed at in my life like that. And Nancy, my mom, she was undiagnosed bipolar, unmedicated for most of my life. So I'm used to women screaming at me. That's nothing new. But I've never been screamed at like this in my fucking life.
But why did she scream at you?
Because when that podcast came out, she was like,
with Ramona.
And I'm not sure if like, did you get to listen to it before I had to take it down?
I never got to listen to it.
It was mostly because I did it with Ronnie. It was mostly me making fun of myself of how terrible the interaction went.
Yeah.
Right. Mostly making fun. I was just saying what happened. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything salacious. Like she said this word or she said this word. Like I was just talking about how horrible the interaction went on my part, mostly making fun of like what I did. And I was
Priscilla. Why did Priscilla call and yell at you though? I don't get it.
Because she was the one in the room. She let me go with her to get her makeup done.
Wait, so Ramona didn't even know you were going to interview her?
No, Priscilla said, "Oh, I'm bringing my friend. She's going to like interview you for like her podcast." And I've never been yelled at like that in my life. The podcast, I think, was literally only out for like 27 hours or something. I don't know. Like the length of like James Franco in that like Boulder movie where he had to like cut his arm off. Like maybe like not even as long as that. And I was in California and I get a call at like 4 a.m. and I see my phone is ringing and I see it's Priscilla, the makeup artist, and it's just going over and over. And I was like, oh, this can't be good. And I picked up. I've never been yelled at like that in my life.
But like, I mean, I still don't get it. Like, what happened?
This is the worst press Ramona has ever liked. And I almost wanted to re-release it. I don't have the audio anymore.
The worst press sheet. Wait, by the way, this is before Ramona started getting really just like across.
Yeah, so I would have been like, all right, this is the worst press Ramona has ever had in her life. Anyway,
imagine Ghostface calling Ramona like, "Do you like scary movies?" I just like to dance and I like to have a good time and I don't really watch movies.
What movies I like? I just remember her telling me when I didn't even get through the first. My intro, and I am not a good podcaster whatsoever. Mostly why I don't.
Didn't she say that didn't she tell you this is a horrible interview or something like that?
Yeah, she told me I was terrible at it, which I'm like, you know what, Ramona, you lie about many things. This is not one of them.
But I think that in its own way is so charming that I think that would be a must listen. So you should just fucking release like classic OG Adderall and Compliments episodes and just do Adderall and Compliments rewind. Wait, no, Annabelle, but I'm serious. But then go back and say what I was thinking at the time, like almost do a commentary on your past episodes, like do a beginning, middle and end, and then play the audio.
I always remember because I did not even my intro, it was just like my first intro was like she's this. It was like she wrote her hit book, Life on the Ramona Coaster, because I wanted to mention her book. And she was like, stop. And so then she's like, don't mention my book. And I was like, okay. And so then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I restarted it. And then I was like, Ramona, I really want to thank you because you are doing like Bethany Frankel level charity right now by doing this podcast. I so appreciate it. And she's like, stop it right now. Turn it off. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm so she goes, okay, so clearly you have no idea who I am. And I guess, you know what? I guess you're a cute enough girl, but I hope this isn't what you do for a job because you're not very good at it. She goes, because clearly you have no idea who I am. And meanwhile, I have fucking like index cards in front of me, like I'm James Lipton. I was prepared.
Ramona, what is the first word you want God to tell you when he greets you in heaven? Like
Avery. I was just like, so I'm just like sitting there and like, I have terrible, like severe anxiety. So I shake even like if I mess up like a customer is like checking out a customer or whatever, I like start like, I'm so bad in confrontation or when I mess up. So like this woman was very close to me. It's just like, guess you're cute enough girl, but you're not very good at your job. Because I mean, you know what would have been astute of you is if you had gone to Google and you had Googled RamonaSinger.com. And then I didn't want to be like, well, if I went to Google, I wouldn't have to put in like RamonaSinger.com into the Google search. I'd just go into RamonaSinger.com and this is, but I didn't. And she's like, and then you would have realized who I was, because clearly you don't know who I am, because if you know who I was, and as she's saying this, now imagine it getting like zooming in closer and closer, because I'm sitting next to her and she gets, now imagine this closer and she goes, because if you knew who I was, then you know that I hate Bethany Frankel. In my face, like her eyes, like Wile E. Coyote, like when hit like the Looney Tunes, like their eyes pop out. Her eyes, like the large Marge scene in Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure when her eyes.
Wait, you have this audio?
I don't even know if I don't even think I have it anymore. Like because I doubt it even, because I had to like email it to the studio at the time. I don't even.
Oh yeah, because you were it was like Dear Media, right?
So I don't even think I have.
Oh,
it
so
anymore.
that's just lost. Oh my God, that's so amazing. Did you cry in front of her?
Yes.
What'd she do? Stop crying. I know what you're doing.
I just loved it. I just always think about, well, I guess you're a cute enough girl.
Oh my God. Well, I interviewed Countess Luann a couple weeks ago again. And this is why you always like never get too cocky or like think you're friends with these people. Cause I remember like halfway through it, I was feeling pretty loose. I thought I was going good. And then I was like, hey, let's play a quick game of So Bad or It's Good. And then she's like, actually, can we go back to talking about my cabaret? Like, let's talk about my cabaret. Like, I'm like, I'd actually, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, of course, I'll work the cabaret. Well, just because I want the cabaret, and I'm like, no, and we had been talking.
You interviewed her.
I think like three, but like I mean, listen, but that's what with these, it's like Ghostface. These guys are like, they're representations of good feelings that you have watching them. Yeah. Money can't buy you class.
I just remember her.
Money can't buy you class.
Well, I was waiting to interview Ramona, which took 2 hours before I could even interview her. And Luann busted through the door, and I couldn't believe it was like Ghost. I was so shocked. It was like Ghostface, like busting through the door. I couldn't believe she is an Amazon. She's so fucking tall, and she's beautiful. I mean, she really is beautiful. But like when you don't expect anybody to come through like this side door, and then like it like opens up like so strongly, and it's like Countess Luann in like a long like maxi dress. And I was like, and like she did like take my breath away. She's so beautiful, and she's so tall.
Dude, dude, that's I was on Jeff Lewis with her, and like I was in the green room, and we were like, he wasn't there yet, and like all of a sudden Countess Luann appears with like an entourage of like 7 people. Like she comes in with like the Michael Jackson hat, like the and she's like fully like like very tall, very like so much presence, and like people are like touching her up, and like I'm sitting there in my old Navy jeans, like just like, hey, and she's like, I'm gonna go get breakfast. I need something to eat. I need something like, what's going on? What do we do? Like, and it was just this flurry of activity where you're like, this is a star. Like you get the feeling that she lives her daily existence in this same kind of chaos.
I just always admire, like, I so admire, because I still don't know if she's doing like an Andy Kaufman thing. Like, I don't know if it's like a bit or not. Like, where she like,
no, I think it's a bit to us, but I think it's turned into something real. Like, I think it went from something that like she's gotten better. Like, she actually, that's what's wild about it. And that's why I think it's like encouraging to all of us. Cause it's like, she just kept going, and eventually she made this thing that everybody joked about. She made it real. Like, this is a real thing. Like, she went over and like did a music festival for thousands of people. It's like very real.
They know my music. I
know. Okay, we gotta go back to Scream, unfortunately. To basically, you guys, they're killers, and there's killers out there, and we're gonna, instead of going through these scenes of this movie,
you're right, we didn't get to the second scene.
Well, no, we still have 43 minutes, so we're gonna talk.
Okay, you're gonna be like, well, we still have 4 minutes, we can make it through.
No, we have only 43 minutes, so we're gonna go through what are some of the things, before I get to the trivia of this movie, what are some of the things that stood out to you? Because also the last scene of the movie is like the last 43 minutes of the movie, when they're at like Sydney's house for the party, which is where like a lot of the big kills happens. That's also where Sydney loses her virginity eventually to Billy Loomis, which is like, isn't that crazy? Like, she decides to lose her virginity, even if she had only waited. Like, she has to then go through the rest of her life knowing that she lost her virginity to the killer.
The guy who killed her mom. Yeah, that is.
But also that Billy Loomis, once again, what a hard worker. Like, he's out there having sex, killing people, doing
sexing. He's, like I said, Cynthia says 2 things can be true at once: disgusting but impressive.
And then Matthew Lillard in that last scene is so on, like, he's like, get it to me, dude. Yeah, cut me. And like, he's like, so like, you totally believe it, but he's like, his
comedic time, he is so good. I don't understand how he is not in like more. How do I see, like, why did we see like Chris Pratt and like why did we see like so many more like other people and so less of like little of Matthew Lillard. It doesn't make sense to me.
Annabelle, I truly just don't think you're watching enough things because Matthew Lillard has worked a lot.
Really? What is the last like mainstream thing he was in besides like Scooby-Doo?
Well, he was in The Descendants, which was a George Clooney movie about 10 years ago.
He's
That was
like in Hawaii or something, and he's like looking
exactly.
over a hill.
Exactly. So most
20 years ago?
Most recently, he's in a new movie coming out in 2025 called The Life of Chuck. He was in Five Nights at Freddy's, which was like a kind of a horror film.
Is that the one that's like the animatronics?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He was in Billions on Showtime for one episode. He was in the reboot of Scream in 2022, but just as a voice, uncredited. He played the principal in He's All That, which was the Netflix movie with Addison Rae. He was in 2 episodes doing the voice work on American Dad. He does a lot of voice work, it seems like.
You've done more voice work in American Dad than Matthew Lillard has.
But he does do Shaggy in a lot of the cartoons for Scooby-Doo still.
I'm just saying we don't, whatever his credits are, they need to be tripled.
Damn, he's the voice of Shaggy in so many things.
I know, but we don't get to see him. We don't get to see that.
Remember he was in Summer Catch back in 2001. He was he was in She's All That as Brock Hudson, obviously. SLC Punk, Scream 2.
I love him and Freddie Prince's like relationship. Like they seem I like to imagine that they're still friends. I don't want to know any different if they're not.
Oh, he was in Serial Mom back in 1994, that John Waters film with Kathleen Turner. Oh my God, I forgot that. Anyways, he's worked plenty, Annabelle. So, but the whole thing is when they reveal that they're the killers.
Work more, Ryan. I hear some like weird, like I don't know. Is it?
I just think you can't.
Jealousy? I don't understand why there's. Sorry,
you can't be greedy.
Ryan, but I don't understand why you can't let Matthew Lillard have.
Oh my God! Anyways. What are some of the other things that you thought about this movie, Annabelle?
When Jamie Kennedy, who the thing is like in the Nicki Minaj song from like the Barbie like soundtrack with oh my God, I'm sorry, the other girl
with Ice Spice.
Yes. I was gonna say I'm like Taylor Swift's friend. Yes. When like she has like that line and like yelling out like it's like the Scream House or something. I'm like, oh my God, she's also seen Jamie Kennedy's penis, because like that is honestly one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Where I was just like, by the
way, if you haven't listened to us recap a movie before, first off, you have to know that we never get through the movie. Second off, you'll know that there was a mild flirtation that Jamie Kennedy and Annabelle DeSisto had in like what year was it?
I don't know. I was 20 and I'm 28 now. So
yeah,
I don't know. Was it 2003, 2004? I know. I was this is like 15 years ago.
So you met him at a radio station that you were working at, and you guys potentially went on a date, right? You and Jamie Kennedy.
Semi, yeah.
I met him. This is the worst date I've ever been on, Annabelle.
I met him at a Florida radio station, and that was when he was engaged to Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I told him, I was like, "Oh my God, like me and my mom are such huge fans of you." And Malibu.
Wait, Annabelle. He was engaged.
He was engaged to Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I told him.
Yeah, but wait! You dated him while he was engaged?
No, I met him for the first time when he was in Florida, and he was engaged to Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I told him because it was like at 6 a.m. because I feel so bad, like when they come down and do like the improv like comedy club or whatever, they have to go on all these like radio like shows or whatever. And so he wasn't even on our radio show; he was on a different radio show, and he was just going through the station. I was like, I love to say like, me and my mom love you, and Malibu's Most Wanted. I love you, Jennifer Love Hewitt together, and then a year later, I was working in Seattle on a different radio station, and I had sent you that video clip because he was on the show, and I went up to him after, like he was on our show that I was like working on, and I went up to him after, and he was like, "Hey, I met you, and your mom likes the movie," and like one of the guys who was actually one of the DJs who was actually on the show, I was just an intern. He was like, "Whoa, that's creepy. How do you still remember her?"
Whoa, that's creepy. How do you still remember her, Jamie?
And so anyway, so I hung out with him after that, and he was like, there's
He
like
was out.
nothing bad about him whatsoever. He was like so nice.
No, but
and
you've never said anything bad. No,
no.
never said
So when
anything
I
bad
say
about Jamie Kennedy.
yes, like so when I say Jamie Kennedy and like huge dick, I don't mean his personality. I just mean like his appendage. Where I thought, I was like, oh!
Which, by the way, like I always thought, like it's a known thing because it gets made fun of on Jeff Lewis all the time that they even know he has a large package.
Like would probably trip on it. Yeah,
he has like kickstand Kennedy, they call him, and no, but I call him. But so you know when you're watching Randy in these movies, just like he has a huge package, which I love because he's the nerd in this movie. But I love that he's like what like. It makes me feel good that he's well endowed.
Yeah.
Like I think I want Randy, the character, to be well endowed as well, because, you know, anyways, I'm glad that Randy doesn't die in this first one.
Like arm, like holding an apple. It was crazy. It was like, I was like, oh, I will never walk again correctly. So
oh my God, shut up.
I'd love to.
He was like, I want you to meet Big Jim. By the way, you hadn't even seen Scream. Wait, did you tell him when you hung out with him about the slumber party when you were in 5th grade?
No, because I didn't even know he was in Scream.
Oh my God! You were just Malibu's Most Wanted,
and the Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Yeah.
What about this movie?
What notes did you take?
When his giant penis and him were talking about like the rules of like horror movies.
The rules of horror films, yeah.
I have my own rule.
What is your rule?
That I would like to bring to the table. I would say not having a good, you know how to survive a horror movie? Live in a shitty apartment, because all of these horror movies are all in nice homes. And how, like, when have you ever, I don't know. Well, I don't watch nearly as many movies / films as you do, Ryan. But is there a horror movie where somebody's like, oh my God, I think I heard a sound in the kitchen / living room. I live in a studio apartment. Like, where is it? If
you lived in a studio apartment, you're safe.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm like, ghosts don't want to live in shitty places. Like, I don't know. If you are in the 1%, you are in, I feel like, the 99% chance of being haunted. If you live in a regular place, like, ghosts are like, I don't want to fuck with that. Like,
Well, Randy's rules, he says, there are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, 1, you can never have sex. The minute you get a little nookie, you're as good as gone. Sex always equals death. 2, never drink or do drugs. The sin factor. It's an extension of number 1. And 3, never, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. And then Stu goes, want another beer? And Randy goes, yeah. And then Stu goes, I'll be right back. And Randy's like, there he goes, folks, a dead man. Wave bye-bye. But we know now that Stu was just going to like put on the ghost face thing and go kill his girlfriend in the garage.
Like it really is such a good movie. This is not, it's going to sound like shady. So I'm like, maybe it's just, watching this, like at any point, like he reminded me, I guess it was like the very like deep stares and like the very dark eyes. Sometimes like Billy had like Kristen Doty energy, like from the first, like I guess because like how the hair was, and like
he had like the James Dean, but like the hair was like pushed forward. He had these little wisps of hair, like yeah.
I was just trying to picture like Billy in like a green dress going over and like getting his like TiVo box or whatever. What was like Kristen getting like when she went over?
When she wore the revenge dress on Vanderpump Rules. Yeah.
But like, I'm much more obviously attracted to Matthew Lillard in this than I was like to Billy. Like if I was like in high school, I'd be like, ooh, like to me, he is not attractive whatsoever. Like the Billy guy. But also, when they were in like the bedroom scene, and when he was like, every life is a movie, you know, you don't get to pick your genre, like whatever. And I'm like, ooh, if a guy taught me, but I guess I'd like rather that. And then like, if a guy was like, listen, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain, or like, you know, like the stupid like sayings.
Oh my God. Okay. These are some movie trivia. Let's go through. I'm going to blow Annabelle's mind right now. This is just some fun facts about Scream.
I'm
The
ready.
last scene was called Scene 118. It lasted 21 days. That the last one at Neve Campbell's house. It took 21 days to film. They all made T-shirts that said "I survived Scene 118, the longest night in horror history." At around 12 minutes in the movie, at the beginning of the movie, Drew Barrymore's parents come home to find something's wrong, and her father tells her mother to go to the McKinseys, which is the same thing that Jamie Lee Curtis told Kyle Richards to do in the movie Halloween 1978. So it's the same line that Jamie Lee Curtis told Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in the movie Halloween. So that's how referenced this movie is.
Do you
Matthew
think Kyle's
Lillard,
ever like, they talked about me in the movie Scream?
yes, I 100% do.
Do you think that her and Morgan Wade have talked about it?
No, I can't believe you and Halloween is before my time, Kyle.
Matthew Lillard, you guys, was cast as Stu by chance. Matthew Lillard accompanied his then girlfriend to an audition taking place elsewhere in the same building that casting director Lisa Beach was casting Scream, saw Lillard in the hallway and asked him to audition for the part.
Wow.
So yeah, Courtney Cox approached the production to pursue the role because she was interested in playing the bitch to offset her nice friends image. Let's see here. The use.
Yeah, I was like waiting for like the meta moment of her like walking around like that giant like fountain they were like all hanging out with, like at the, like the first like friend.
Yeah.
Like, hanging out outside. So I was like waiting for like that meta moment. Is this where like her and David Arquette like met?
Yeah.
Pre-Coco.
Yeah, this is where their romance bloomed. The use of caller ID increased more than threefold after the release of this film. Who knows how they even but that's what this fun fact says. Let's see. Wes Craven, the director, initially removed the bit where Casey says the first Nightmare on Elm Street film is great, but the rest suck, because he said, I thought that would make me look like an egomaniac, but I'm glad he left it in. Jamie Kennedy was chosen for the role of Randy because he would often improvise humor into his lines, which made director Wes Craven laugh. When Henry Winkler, about 52 minutes in the movie, opens his principal's closet, you see his black leather Fonzie jacket from Happy Days.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that Easter egg. Oh, that's so cute.
During production, Ghostface's signature black robe was going to be white to make him appear more like a ghost, and this was changed in fear of people comparing the costume to those that the Ku Klux Klan wore. No, for real. This was originally, what was the original title of this movie, Annabelle?
Oh, I do know this. It wasn't a Scary Movie?
It was Scary Movie, which went on to be the parody Scary Movies, but it was really originally titled Scary Movie. Let's see. Wes Craven initially turned down the film. He was busy developing a remake of The Haunting, and he was trying to distance himself from the horror genre. He signed on to direct after Drew Barrymore agreed to appear in the film. Also, he was confronted allegedly by a young little boy fan who was about 10. The boy accused Craven of going soft and that he had more guts back in the day when he was making movies like Last House on the Left. And there's no way that's true. Drew Barrymore shot all of her scenes in the first 5 days of production. So that first scene of the movie is the first scene that they actually filmed.
I love her so much. She's like always been one of my crushes. I think she's just like, I think she is.
Isn't it crazy to live in a day where Drew Barrymore is now known for a talk show as opposed to like Charlie's Angels or Scream or Little Girl Lost or isn't that wild?
It's so like, I mean, she'll always be Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle to me. But I absolutely love her. It was just like so refreshing to see her without Ross Matthews, because he's just like someone who just gets on me. Like I just,
okay.
Feel like I feel like he is one of the luckiest people in show business. Like along with, I won't say as much as Jim Belushi, but I will say like to that level.
Oh, I forgot you have a Jim Belushi weird thing with Jim Belushi. I forgot about that. Okay, I will. That's so funny. But to me, the Ross Matthews, to me, that's like, when I look at that, I'm like, oh, that's best case scenario for my career. Like I look up to Ross Matthews. Like I'm like, oh, if I could be Ross Matthews one day, that'd be huge. But there's just no way.
Because I always
so
thought he was so funny as like the like fat, like gay, like chubby intern, like for like when.
And now he's like super
Jay
skinny.
Leno. And then it's like, because I always like liked him on Chelsea Lately and everything. And then I saw him at like maybe it's like the San Francisco airport or something. Like it was like a really small airport. And I was like, oh my God, I love you. And he was like very like cool guying me. And I was like, all right, Ross Matthews. Like he was very much like, please afford me my privacy. Like not like that level, but just being like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Like just, I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right. It was just so crazy how they talk about her mother, even like her best friend, like Tatum, like Rose McGowan's like, like her history, Sid. Like, I mean, like this is her best friend talking to her of like,
and it seems like a small town, so it's wild for this. But it seems like a small town, but at the same time, very spread out in terms of the houses. Like
her legs,
Nev
like
Campbell's house.
When she's like, your mom
God.
had a history. And it was just like, do you ever watch Cat House on HBO?
Yeah, totally. I remember that. That was you guys a reality show on HBO, but it was like about a whorehouse, right?
The bunny ranch.
Sorry, the bunny ranch. Is that even
in Nevada?
I always think of the Dolly Parton movie, the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Deceased now, Dennis Hoff. I just loved how they talked about her mom. Just reminded me, I'm like, it's like they were talking about. Do you remember Air Force Amy on Cat House?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's how they talked about. And they're like, she slept with so many men, Sydney. She just got around so because like Air Force Amy was like where she's like had slept with like the most people or something, like or she was like in the Guinness Book of World Records. She was a celebrity I was excited to see.
Dude, I ran
into her at the Palazzo like when it was like my 21st birthday, and like we were on a different floor where like you could have your own like checkout or whatever. And I remember Air Force Amy was like checking out like in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, like it was like a celebrity, like and I got so excited. And she was much more gregarious and polite and welcoming to a fan than Ross Matthews. So
okay, let's see here.
And
more fun facts.
Star, Ryan. I'm sorry, is Ross Matthews in the Guinness Book of World Records? I don't think so.
He probably is for something. Nev Campbell was originally going to say no to the film, but then she said yes once she heard Skeet Ulrich from the movie The Craft. They did the movie The Craft together. Skeet Ulrich and Nev Campbell were both in The Craft. So then she agreed to do the film. And then to your point earlier, Wes Craven said that they knew they were walking a fine line because the killer had clumsiness and often was knocked down. And so during the first fight with Sydney, they actually shot, but then removed a beat with her hitting him over the head with a picture causing him to fall down the stairs. So they were kind of realizing that they couldn't make him too klutzy, but still he was klutzy. Let's see here. The role of Sydney was offered to a lot of people, one of them being Molly Ringwald from the Breakfast Club, who turned it down saying she said she'd rather not be playing a high school student at the age of 27. Which was, I figured anyways, I figured she was older at that point.
Zolciak 27?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. Leonardo DiCaprio and Holly Marie Combs screen tested together for the roles of Billy Loomis and Sidney Prescott.
I don't know who
Holly Marie Combs? I think she was in that TV show. Not Chand. Holly Marie Combs. She one sec.
Is she related to Sean Combs?
Yeah, she was Sean popped in. No, she was in Picket Fences and and Charmed. She was in Charmed. That was the big
I never watched Charmed.
Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty. Yeah. So they screen tested, which is wild to think about. The conversation between Sydney, Stu, Billy, Tatum in front of that fountain is what Santa Rosa High School pulled their permission for filming on campus because the language was too much for them. So they were originally supposed to shoot on this high school, and then they filmed this, but the language was so much. And the school board said that
No. It was such a more innocent, and you can tell it was such like more innocent time, and it's not funny, but it was just so like, oh, the times when It was 1996, and when your comedy hero, when Deputy Dewey,
David Arquette.
Brings her to school the next day, and it's all right, Sid. You're at school. You'll be safe here. And I'm like, oh, because it was like back then. It's like, oh, you were safe at school, but that was before Dylan and Eric.
Yeah. Well, God, did you just bring Columbine into that? Okay. Anyways, Joaquin Phoenix turned down the role.
That this was before that. Like.
Yeah. No, it was before. It was when schools were safe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix turned down the role of Billy Loomis. That was kind of interesting. Let's see here. I'm trying to find other fun facts about this movie besides being just really.
Did you think that Joker 2 was terrible?
I didn't see it yet. I haven't seen a movie in a theater in a hot minute. Like I keep wanting to go see films and then I'll wait too long. And I still haven't seen Beetlejuice, the sequel, and I really want to see that.
Oh, I didn't see that. The last movie I saw was like Deadpool. You saw
Deadpool and Wolverine? Oh my God.
Yeah,
and I bet you loved it. You loved it, right? Yep. There were a couple.
Yeah, you're like, I thought it was terrible, so I knew that you.
No, I do want to see it. I mean, it's on Disney Plus now, and I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
Deadpool and Wolverine? No.
Oh my God, it is the most fun I've had at the theaters. But it was so refreshing to finally like see a fun movie that was just like enjoying being a movie. And do you put Banaka in? What did you just put in?
It's sore throat spray. It's fast pain relief.
Mucinex. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of sinus issues and sore throat issues.
Like the Seinfeld Banaka.
Linda Blair cameos in this film at 39 minutes. She plays a reporter who says, people want to know, people have a right to know. And that's, of course, the lead actor from The Exorcist, the little girl from The Exorcist. And Wes Craven, the director, is in this film at 52 minutes. He plays Fred the janitor. He's wearing a red and green striped sweater like Freddy Krueger.
He looks like Gallagher. That's who I originally thought it was.
You about to get melon squishins all over you. Nobody really, by the way, we're so old that nobody really appreciates a good Gallagher reference, but there was a stand-up comedian, you guys, in the 80s that would like, his whole bit was like smashing watermelons with a big wooden mallet, and people in the front row would be like, hit me, Gallagher, hit me with the melon squishins. And then not only that, he had a brother, and like the brother split off and did Gallagher too. So he would like, you didn't know if you were seeing the real Gallagher or not. There was like two Gallaghers.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Gallagher and Gallagher too, and he there was like competing Gallaghers.
Dueling Gallaghers? Oh my God!
Yeah. That's your rapping granny moment.
Did you ever work with Peter Gallagher? They are not related whatsoever. It was just reminding me of Gallagher.
The dad from the OC? No, yeah, I love that dude so much. I love that dude.
And the ballet school director in Center Stage.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like, I love Peter Gallagher. I wish Peter Gallagher would have been great in Scream. I would have loved to have seen him as a role in Scream.
Can you have him on your podcast?
I would. By the way, that's the kind of like, that's who I would love to speak to. People like that, you know.
When are you going to have? Remember, I got you that cameo for your birthday, or maybe because I was bored.
Oh yeah, from from Twilight.
Yeah, was it Michael Facinelli or no?
Yeah, Peter Facinelli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he would love to do your podcast.
Well, but see, that's my like nervousness that I never reached out to him, because I'm like, oh, what do I say? Like, you gave me a cameo, and then like, what if he found out we made fun of the Twilight movies?
His agent would be like, listen, this is going to be really big for you. Listen, they're going to let you on. I feel like it would be really. He's like, this is going to be huge for you. Him talking to Peter, not for you. You're like, listen, Brian just needs to fill some time. So I got you.
But Peter Facinelli too, because he used to be married to Jenny Garth, who played Kelly on 90210.
Ryan, I think that how you were like so excited to be on Jeff Lewis's show, and now you're just like now, but like honestly, they'd be like, oh my God, I'm on like something that's like the top like 20 in iTunes. Like, when are they like? When do you think that they've been like top 20 in iTunes, or probably like top 15. I'm not trying to like neg you. It's probably like top 15, but
What are you talking about? What did you say?
like your podcast, like how,
Oh,
do
no.
you think it is like they have been like, it would honestly, I think that they would be like so thrilled to be on it. Like you really absolutely should have Peter on.
Well, it's just, I'm not focused. Yeah. one day I will, to celebrate.
You're like, I have a very long list of people who I told.
No, I would love to talk to any. I mean, most people I would love to talk to, but Peter Fasinelli, of course, I would love to talk to him. Okay, gonna go back to a couple more
video proof of him
that he said,
he would do it,
from years ago. Scream, you guys. Let's see. There's wait. I just had one. Let's see. No, Drew Barrymore. Okay, this is. In the Scream DVD commentary, Wes Craven said that Barrymore's performance in the film is the result of her putting an enormous amount of trust in me. Before filming, she cried while telling the director about a story in the newspaper that involved a dog being set on fire by its owner. And so Wes Craven used to say, I'm lighting the match to trigger her on set to get an emotional response on camera.
Oh, God. Oh.
Isn't that insane?
Oh, that's really. Oh, wow. Actors' processes, am I right?
Yeah.
No, that reminds me of what would you say? And what would you say is like the most disturbing movie you've ever seen?
Oh God. From Justin to Kelly. With Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini.
Kelly Williams, from one of Destiny's Children. Also co-host of the hit podcast Beyond the Blinds. Kelly was like aka Laguna Biatch, who I met through you from like listening to her on your show. We did from Justin to Kelly. We did like a recap like years ago of it, and it was obviously the first one I'd ever seen it. And I was like, I always hated him on American Idol. I always voted for Kelly Clarkson every week. But I was like, okay, like he was not nearly as like detestable as I found him during American Idol. And then I was like, oh, like good for you, Justin Guarini, getting those Dr. Pepper commercials. But like have you ever seen From Justin and Kelly? Like honestly?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I have.
I just thought it was crazy. Do you remember how they only licensed that one song? It wasn't Shake Your Groove thing. It was like, but it was like another song of that time.
Yeah. I forgot this, but they licensed it to be in the film, right?
Yeah, but they only did like that was the only real song. Like the rest were like made for the movie. But
yeah,
but they only had like one song that they licensed that they played like over and over in different kind of like variations. And like maybe it was like Shake Your Groove. I don't know. I just remember. But besides like From Justin to Kelly, like what is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen? I think probably would be Butterfly Effect. And just remind me,
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, just because you said the dog being lit on fire, like we were talking about Drew Barrymore. Truly, The Butterfly Effect is one of the most, if not the most disturbing movie I've ever seen.
You know, I'm trying to think about this question seriously now, because I know there's.
Where's your car? Like, I'm not against Ashton Kutcher's work.
No, I know there's got to be some movie that really, really disturbs me. And I know I'm just blanking on. Like, I thought Longlegs was pretty disturbing. I saw that this year with Nicolas Cage. Longlegs was pretty crazy. That horror film with Nicolas Cage this past year.
I read the movie spoiler for that because you know how I like read.
Oh yeah, Annabelle. Remember, she doesn't see she'll read the movie spoilers. She'll read the cliff notes for the movie instead of seeing the movie.
Notes because of horror movies because I know I'm not going to see them, but I still want to. I want to be in the know. I don't want to be left out of a movement. I like to, like the Punisher.
The movie.
Oh my God, was it the Punisher? Wait, no, not the Punisher. It was the scary. No, the Punisher is like that symbol that a bunch of like the rednecks have is like the skull. Okay, yeah, the skull. No, not the Punisher. Who's the scary like art clown?
Oh, Terrifier. The Terrifier.
Okay, yes, I knew I had an at the end. Yes.
By the way, I've never seen any of the Terrifier movies. The third one just came out and it beat Joker 2 at the box office. But I'm on Terrifier TikTok, so I've seen a lot of the clips because like TikTok just keeps feeding me Terrifier movie things, and I've seen that Art the Clown show up everywhere and like scare people. So I've never seen the movies, but it seems like it's pretty gory from the clips I've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty insane from what I've read. Just because I was so curious about like, because I just kept hearing about like this bedroom scene. Have you like heard about the bedroom scene?
Yeah.
And like, I was so like fascinated with what it was. And then I read it and I'm like afraid to like look it up. I don't even think it would be like on YouTube or something. Cause like, it seems like it probably like violates a lot of.
No, it probably is. I mean, you could probably find that immediately. But I don't think you're ready for that. I don't think you should do that.
One thing I will say about, what was so nice about like Scream and seeing these type of movies, because I feel like horror movies now, besides if like they're not like a pale like British boy ghost or something, I feel like a lot of the horror movies are just like such like gore, like hardcore, where it's just like so much of like like
well, it's like
girls with stuff in like their mouths with like runny makeup, like like
it's horror porn. Like the Saw movies are really the ones that really started like kicked it into overdrive. Those Saw movies are insane. I was working my way through those a year ago, and then I finally gave up because it was like
I've never seen them because I just know like from what I've seen, like from what I've seen and what I've read, but I'm just like, I know that I would never get through it because he'd be like, it's like, you want to play a game? So first, and he'd like go through it and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear the first part. Or like, can you go back to like where he'd be like, it's like, well, the poison gas. And I'm like, I'm what? I'm sorry. And then
he would be, it's a bad connection. I cannot hear you at all.
What did you say first? I don't like, I didn't hear the first part. Like, where he'd just be like,
he'd be so annoyed with you. He would be like, I do not have the patience for this. Like, I do not have the patience.
Get out of my trap. I'm wasting valuable.
You make it so hard to be a monster. Like you were really,
He's like, this is too frustrating. I'm sorry. I'm wasting valuable materials on you. Out.
What is your favorite, what's your favorite costume you've ever dressed up for Halloween?
Probably my Roman goddess one.
Was this when you were a kid?
No, this was.
I don't mean adult Halloween, Annabelle. I mean as a kid. Like I don't. Oh my God.
You're like, as a kid, when I said, "What's your favorite Halloween costume?"
When you're supposed to dress up, like as a kid for Halloween, like go knock door to door for candy. Not now.
I don't have great memories. I guess as like I was like a unicorn one year.
Was it a slutty unicorn?
I was just it was just the horn part. I don't want to say where it was. But you use your imagination.
Was he like, yeah. Oh my God. I dressed up as Jack Nicholson's the Joker, and that was like a big one. Like I have a picture of that somewhere I'll post when we release this episode.
Oh, I would love that. Oh,
I had the full like grease paint makeup, but then I was like the kid that stayed at the party too long, and so I was still dressing up when I was like 16 and 17, like with the theater kids, and we were going door to door, and like you were starting at that point of like, hey, like it's time to retire, like but I was like dressed up as Charlie Chaplin one year.
Oh,
I dressed up, but nowadays I don't dress up really at all. I mean, I'll dress up if I'm forced to, but I don't look forward to it.
See, I dressed up every year for Halloween. Like,
what are you dressing up as this year? What?
Well, this year I'm being like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. But
have you wait. Have you seen A Nightmare Before Christmas?
I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay. You swear you've seen it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I love it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I thought there was a good chance that you have it.
When I first watched that documentary on Scientology, and who's the guy's name? Who's the one?
Danny Elfman?
No.
No.
The guy who invented
L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard.
Yes. Because when I watched it, his teeth looked like the doctor's teeth in Nightmare Before Christmas, who invents Sally, because his teeth are like they're like crazy, like shark teeth. No, I'm dressing like Sally, and I have like makeup ready, but I'm sad that I never got to be friends with you in LA when I was like
fully dressing up all the time
and good when I was in a good place, because like Halloween, like October, like most girls are like, Halloween's my thing. Like all of my craziest stuff I did like body wise was all during Halloween because I would do the most insane shit to lose weight for my Halloween parties. Because I would, it would be the only parties I could, I don't give a shit about Christmas or my birthday or anything. Like, I would have my Halloween parties and I would send out like invitations. I'd hire a bartender. And I always just thought it was such bullshit because I'd have to go to like this, like model bartender. And I was like, all right, every bartender in LA is a model, is an actor. And so I would call the company every year and they're like, all right, well, do you want the bartender to be able to do this? Or like, what type are you, do you want him to be into bitters? And I would tell them every year, I was like, I just need a guy who's okay with being sexually harassed the entire night by a bunch of female comedians. I don't care if he can't even make a rum and coke. I don't care. I just need for him to be okay standing there and being objectified and being made fun of. And be cool with it. And they were like, okay. So every year I got a different.
You were truly turning into Ramona Singer. Like you were truly.
Every year I got a different like shirtless bartender. But yeah, I would do like the craziest stuff it was always the smallest I ever was. So I was always thrilled about October because I would do all those like body wraps and I would do like 3 colonics a week. Like I do like crazy shit. Like I do like crazy stuff to like be small for my costume.
I just we got to end this, but I wanted to tell people we're not normal people. Do not do or say or anything that we say. Like this is, just trigger warnings everywhere. Everybody's beautiful the way they are. Nobody has to lose weight.
No, remember that's when I told you the doctor who I went to when I first time I got like the colonic for Halloween, and you probably saw him in Hollywood or whatever. His name was Dr. Bo Wagner, and Nancy told me to go to this guy, and he was like supposed to be this doctor for the stars, and his place was in like the Valley, like in fucking Burbank.
Yeah.
And I went and when I met him, I'd only seen pictures of him where he looked like the Fonz, like very dark, like jet black hair. And then when I met him, that picture was from him like 40 years ago. And he was like Frankenstein tall and just like white hair. And he said, I remember the first time I met him, he said that people in the Amazon live to be 120 years old, but they don't know that because they don't have math. And I sat there and I was like, right. Well, that makes sense.
You're like, do whatever you want to my body. Do whatever you want.
The thing is, if somebody says like something a little bit weird, and I'm like, well, I don't think that's true. But when somebody says something so crazy, I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I'm just like, if this man can help me lose weight, I don't fucking care what he says. I don't give a shit. I do not care. So when I said, I was like, yeah, I'll have my first colonic. And I just assumed it would be like a nurse doing it. So I went there on a Saturday in an empty office building, empty apartment, like office building. And I go in and it's just him. And he's like, I'll be in a minute. And I was like, oh, well, where's the girl? And I realized it was just me and him. And I was just like, well, I've already parked at this point. And in LA, it's a very big thing. If you've already found parking, I'm like, well, this might as well happen. Can't be worse than other things that have happened to me. So he did my vlog and I'm just sitting there. And I told you how old he was. And so I don't have my phone or anything. And I'm just sitting on this table and like, I'm not trying to figure out. So anyway, you're like having a colonic or whatever. And he left and I just thought he was going to leave me alone. And then he comes back and he has a bowl of cereal. Bowl of Cheerios. He sat right next to me while I was on the table and he was just sitting there eating the Cheerios. And then at one point,
while the tube was in your butt?
Yes. And I'm not sure if anybody's had a colonic, but there's that. And I look over and he's just like eating a cereal. And at one point I looked over and he was just like,
he was asleep. He passed out.
I didn't know I thought he was dead. Because he was still holding like Sydney, like when Drew Barrymore was being dragged after being stabbed and half dead like through the lawn, and she was still holding onto her phone so tightly. I thought he was dead, but he was still holding onto the cereal so tightly. And all I kept thinking was, I'm alone in an office building in Burbank on a Saturday morning, and I'm with this dead man, and I have this thing attached, this tube up my ass.
Yeah.
I'm just my insides are going to be sucked out. No one's going to be here until Monday. No one's going to hear me.
Well, and that's how the movie Scream ended, you guys.
Terrifying.
What a way to end. What a way to end. That truly is the most horrifying part of this entire 2.5 hour extravaganza. Annabelle, I do have to leave, but what can we support you with besides Adderall and compliments? Besides our thoughts and our prayers
Oh,
for
thoughts
you.
and prayers. That has worked for everything else in the world. So
And by the way, go bug Annabelle and keep telling her to do her podcast, because she does this like wonky release schedule where she does one like every 6 months. So go encourage Annabelle to do this on a weekly basis. And
I'm just, just like keep, like living your dreams, you guys. Like, I don't like
guys, get a tube up your butt. Think of Annabelle when you have a tube up your butt and a man eating cereal that passes out in front of him. And true to form, we made it through one scene of the movie Scream. And I hope you enjoyed so much about this film and the magical journey that we have taken you on over these, once again, 2.5 hours. The movie's 1 hour and 43 minutes, and we have gone 2.5 hours. And I knew it. I told Annabelle at the beginning. I told her before we hit record, and I knew it. And I just wanted to point it out at the very end. So I hope you enjoy our banter, because that is primarily what you got today. But I had a great time. Annabelle, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Thank you for letting me do this.
Hi, you guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy